Let me get my.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 57 of the Talking with the Dad podcast. This evening, we have a long show planned for sure. I think it's going to be a long show. Got a lot of really good topics that could be headlining their own episode each almost. Honestly, this is a good show. This is a good show we got lined up for you guys this evening.
All right, thanks for tuning in, everyone. It's been great. You know where to find us at all our social media platforms. No, it's gonna be great. This is mega edition, but there's some real news going on. COVID thinned out some of the topics for quite some time.
Hold on. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant literally it thinned out. I'm like, well, in our state, we're doing pretty good, but.
No. I'm not talking about the actual, disease itself. I'm talking about topic news. Actually, one of my favorite content creators on YouTube.
Thank you.
Posted.
Oh, you weren't gonna say it was me.
He posted something in one of those things that I wish we can do on our YouTube. You know how people can post like updates and stuff like that. You never seen that?
I know. I was trying to think, could we? But I think you might have to be like a partnered channel or something.
Yeah, to do that. So he posted. He was like, "Hey, I really do respect you guys. Thank you for all your new subscribers, all the new people that have joined. Here's the thing." COVID has really slowed down entertainment news. And he was like, I would rather not make a show this week than go over the same things over and over again. I've respected that because he, when he goes live, he gets a lot of new subs. Not a lot of new joins. People donate throughout the entire live stream. And I thought that was kind of stand up of him. Yeah. Pretty good stuff there.
Quality over quantity, my friend, is always the way. Always the way.
Absolutely. I could have a bunch of cheap versions of Oreos, or I can get the real thing.
Yeah, and then eat them all in one sitting.
I just did that, and I'm probably going to poop my pants during this show. I had coffee, Oreos, and now I'm working on the Guinness. Not a good combination.
That sounds pretty fucking good.
What's going on with you, big guy? How's your week been?
It was all right. Went out to dinner with my dad today. Actually, legitimately went to a restaurant. It was the first time since March. Right, so it's been a long time, so that was nice. Good to see my dad.
What did you guys eat?
I had a brisket sandwich. Now, as good as that sounds, there was too much barbecue sauce on it, and the brisket itself was okay. It wasn't fantastic. This is a place that we go all the time. It's a staple. We knew the waitress that we had. We've she's waited on us. I don't even know how many times. Right, like all throughout high school. So it was okay. It was okay. Not much else though. Not much else going on really.
No, nothing to write home about. Did you complain about the brisket? Did you start a fight with the waitress?
No, absolutely not. No. I'm not one of those people. I ate the entire thing with the French fries and the pickle on the side and didn't say a word.
There was a huge expose when I was a kid about the pickles and the coleslaw you get at diners and stuff like that in New York City, like in Manhattan, and apparently, no surprise to me, some of these diners in the city, they were recycling the pickles. Like, you know what? Zach didn't finish his pickle. Why don't you go ahead and put it on that guy's plate?
I eat the pickle every single time. I don't care.
Pause. I'm sure you do, man. I usually
clip it. Shout out audio listeners.
Yeah, thank you guys. What are we up to? Like 154 plays now?
More than that, 58, something like that. The interviews are doing well. I know we had mentioned this at the end of the last show. We're re-releasing all of the 4 interviews we had done. And going forward, we'll try to get more in there, but it is what it is.
Yeah, we got to reach out to some new people for some interviews. Actually, I want to reach out to EK, see because it's funny. I called him when you told me that you heard his voice on the.
I saw him on the screen, not in Europe. It was him. I'm like, I know that guy.
I called him and I'm like, hey man, I guess you didn't know you. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, typical. I'm like, yo, you were just they just either played your audio clip or showed your face at some type of expo, and he's like, oh yeah, I forgot that was happening. I'm like,
it's like, damn, famous people problems, huh?
Yeah, like I do so many cool things, Steve, that it's like
it's just like, one doesn't really make an impression over the other, so you can't pick a favorite kid.
I'll have the clams, please.
Sir, where are you right now? He's like, Monaco. Click. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? It's like it's the Grand Prix this weekend.
Zach, are you going to shout out the sponsors or what?
They don't deserve a shout out. They paid for a mid roll, and you know my opinion on mid rolls. We actually sent them the money back. Fuck them.
Yeah, Manscaped. Your clippers don't even work. I'm injured for life after using those things.
Scarred, even. We're bringing the TV show Scarred back for my balls.
Dude, someone needs to help Michelle Watterson out, man. Like, I thought she was bad when she was an analyst, and this is a woman I respect and I like her. I love her marriage. I like her husband. He's a funny, quiet man.
What is
but
happening?
She's not. We were talking about Manscaped, but I'm going to explain what's happening. So on her IG, she recently did a plug for Manscaped, and she had a whole skit, and it was just
not funny.
Oh man, it was bad. It was painful. It wasn't as painful as when she was an announcer on Fox Sports 1 and
FS1.
Shout out to I had a friend that worked there. I won't shut you out. I won't say your name on our show. I don't want to ruin your career. But yeah, it was bad. I'll send it to you privately. Like, she's just, obviously reading from the cards. Yeah, you probably could, but she's reading from the cards, and it's not good, bro. But it's okay because she's fighting tomorrow night. I think this is going to be her last fight if she loses.
I think you said that the last fight too.
Yeah, I keep sending her letters, and oddly enough, the police keep showing up to my house every time I send her a letter.
Sir, here's the third restraining order for Miss Watterson, as you may know her.
I meant to ask you, what do you think of the new Rogan studio?
It's a nice studio. The design's a little much for me. I wouldn't do something quite like that. I liked his old studio quite a bit, but yeah, tech is about as top of the line as you could get. And have you seen fully what the tech actually is there?
No.
So they have like a little pop-up thing. Like, if you've ever been to like a big conference room, like, like there's little plugs in the middle, and you press it and it might either pop up or the top comes off. Well, you press it and there's a cough button there. Like, there's like a quick mute and a place to plug your headphones in and like a charger. Like, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, when you got the money like that, how much did he get from Spotify?
100 million, and he was making $1 million a week off of his podcast anyway.
How much money is too much money?
Not that much. That is not my number, sir.
Could you? People scoff at $100 million as if it's no money, but that's $100 million. That's you're at the edge of generational wealth. All you need is
at generational wealth. Let's be fair. At $100 million, I believe you could live off of the interest of some sort. Like, if you live a fairly moderate lifestyle, you could live off the interest, right?
Yeah, I mean, but we're talking about tuition, health, health,
tuition.
And wellness. Yeah,
hold on, tuition. Let's look at that. You could have 10 kids.
Yeah. Okay. Now, before you jump in,
$100,000 a piece, and you spend a tenth of your money.
Before you jump into this, we got to talk about, you got to have money coming back in to sustain, right? And don't forget, tuition is going up every year. It's more,
but you're never going to hit $1 million for tuition, right? That's what I'm saying. You could have 10 kids at $250,000 a piece and still be fine.
What if your kids are liberal arts majors? That's $1 million each.
No, I said $250,000. That's a lot of fucking money for college still.
The kid goes to grad school, takes a gap year, then he decides to switch.
Gap years are free.
Gap years aren't free. Someone's paying for you to stay at home, bro.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Me, I am.
No, you're not. People who take gap. What are you claiming to be on a gap year? I just realized.
This is about 8 years now.
I've been on a gap year for quite some time now. I went to spring break and just never came back.
I've been living in Florida ever since.
How's the stream going?
It's all right. I haven't really found motivation to play any game, man. It's kind of hard. I need a game that really is going to captivate me, and I've tried different games, and I don't know. Nothing really has me right now.
DayZ not holding your interest.
The issue with DayZ is I went on. I played for a while. I got in one fight which I shouldn't have really got myself in, and took out 2 of the 3 guys. I had a shotgun with 6 rounds, right? And I took out 2 of the 3 guys, and they all had M4s. So the 3rd guy kills me, whatever, right? That's like 2 hours down the drain. And then I go and play for another 3 or 4 hours, and I get a full kit, and I'm like even better equipped than what I was previously. And then I go and wipe a squad of 4, and now I just have everything I ever could want, and it's boring again,
That's life, buddy. You get things, you lose things.
I don't know. DayZ's not keeping me in like it used to. The standalone was never as good as the mod. The original mod back in the day. I downloaded Arma 3. I might try some Arma 3 operations and see what's going on there. I don't know. Arma 3 is really good, but you need a squad to play with to be competitive against, there's sometimes you're fighting against people like squads of 10. I'm not going to be able to take out a squad of 10 by myself. I may take out 5, but I'm not going to take out 10.
What about Rogue Company? Doesn't grab your interest at all, Rogue Company?
No, that game looks awful. You noticed how quick everyone stopped playing it when anything else came out. No one is playing Rogue Company. None of the big streamers are playing Rogue Company right now. They all jump ship from Rogue Company after like a week. There's a reason. It's a third-person shooter. They're only so much fun unless they're really, truly competitive and built around being third-person. Rogue Company didn't look like that to me. It was trying to be a third-person CS with... Actually, it was trying to be a third-person Valorant. Let's be fair. It was a hero shooter with third-person aspects, and, that doesn't really interest me. No, a number of things that I've tried. I've tried a lot of games recently, and nothing is really drawing me in that way.
Maybe you should think about being a health and wellness streamer. Like you can have people tune in.
And I just give really bad advice the entire time. And I'm like, yes, sir, you should eat Wendy's every single day for the next 3.5 weeks. Have you heard about the new pretzel bun burger that they have out? It's delicious.
You really got to set it up though. Like you got to build your brand up to the point where people trust you. Like you look kind of like a male Martha Stewart, and then you start giving the bad advice. You're like, so here's the thing: you take the condom off halfway through, she'll never know.
And then you run. Forget your pants. You look good in those pants anyway. You just run. No, I don't know, man. I don't know. Call of Duty's right around the corner. This kind of year, this like time of year is always kind of a drought. And I've always really filled in with RuneScape, but because COD was so bad last year, I got all of my 4 months of hardcore 10 hours a day of RuneScape in earlier in the year, and I can only do that for so long a year too. I've tried Halo. I'm not digging Halo on the PC. I've tried a lot. Battlefield. I enjoy Battlefield, but I can't take it seriously enough to like actually want to play it for a sustained amount of time. There's just nothing right now that's really, really great. It's shooter wise, at least. Like there's a bunch of other games out that I could play, but shooters are where my bread and butter is, and it's just there's nothing right now for me.
Yeah. Okay, you should probably think about playing the Blair Witch.
Yeah, that seems like a game that I would thoroughly enjoy.
You can do retro games like other people are doing right now. Go pick an old game, go through it.
Sounds beat it. Terrible. It sounds like the worst idea anyone's ever had, and people who do that should not do that. I just beat Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 on stream. What do you mean?
What's crazy is speaking about old games, they're remaking one of my favorite games from back in the past, Prince of Persia.
I saw that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna buy it, but that makes me it makes me happy that someone, thinking, people would be exposed to that. Oddly enough, it's just Aladdin, the game repackaged.
Sure.
Into something else. Like it is literally Aladdin, the same gameplay, but at any rate, man, what are you gonna do, Zach? Maybe you could do a cooking stream.
No.
Nah?
No, I don't know. I mean, what do I do? 45 minutes of a stream, man? That doesn't seem fun, right? Like, I don't like to eat on camera. There's a few things that I think are rude. Eating on camera is one of them. I don't feel like it's something that I would like to put forth. I just don't think it's a good look. Unless you're like someone who streams 13 hours a day, then you're going to eat on camera, right? Like you get an excuse there. But no, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things, and I do truly love streaming. There's nothing really grabbing me right now. Maybe I could become a political streamer.
Yeah, you could do that. ASMR or whatever that stuff is called. You do that at nighttime. That'd be.
There is a 0% chance that I am one of those freaks.
You got the thing with the 2 ears, and you're like, "You're a loser."
And then it's just me. I'm just like, this is beard rubbing, and it's like not making any noise. And they're like, "What's going on? Is he just itching himself?" And he's like, "Yeah, exactly." This is what the noise that Steve is making, the face that Steve is making right now, through the pixelation, you could tell that Steve is really uncomfortable by that, which I would also. I'd be uncomfortable with myself doing it.
Am I pixelated right now? Because you look good on my screen.
I know I look good on you. I always look good. No, you don't. You're coming in and out. You're coming in and out.
Well, it's not my internet. I got it hard lined in tonight, man. You know what I'm saying? I won't take any more disparity against Optimum Internet. Those fine people at Optimum Internet. Whenever I call them, they always seem so surprised that they actually
Have
work
a
there.
customer. Oh,
Yeah, they're like, how'd you get this number?
you can hear them crinkling papers in the background, but not, like actually just crinkling papers to make it sound like they're busy. Like, are
We
you
got a
just
team on our
crinkling?
way out there.
Are you just crinkling papers? Oh no, I'm busy. I'm very busy.
Dude, I had FiOS for about a month, man. It was
FiOS
like
is
the great.
so good, dude.
It was like the greatest time ever, man. I remember the first time I turned the PlayStation 4 on to download a game, and it was done in like a minute, and I was like, "This."
Yes.
The way people are meant to live.
Yeah, I agree, dude. I totally agree.
All right, but we got a great show here for you, Zach. That's enough of the warm up, enough of the reach around and spooning. What happened?
Reach around. Why are you bringing that Tom Cruise movie into this? Jack Reach Around?
Oh, I see what you did there. Jack Reacher. I was like, I've heard rumors about him my entire, his entire career. But I'm like, did he actually make a movie like that? What do you want to kick it off with here first, buddy? Because we got some stuff. What do you want to kick it
We
off?
got a lot of stuff actually. I don't know, man. Let's start off with the Nvidia stuff. I think we got to see the card. This is the shortest topic we have on here, right? We got to see the cards. We got to see what they look like, how big they are, what they, that's it, right? We got to see the design. Now the reference cards, I always think the reference cards look really good. Right now, the function over form thing, you could question that or not. They've gone through a few different iterations of coolers and exhaust versus intake, right? They used to have just one big exhaust on it. That used to be the NVIDIA reference cooler for a decade, I think. It was just an exhaust fan, it just sucking air through it. It worked, right? And then they switched to the 20 series, had dual fans, and now this one's going back to a single fan, but with a bigger shroud. Like, I don't know. It's fascinating. The engineering and design around a graphics card to dissipate heat is fascinating.
No, I definitely like the look of it. I was going to tell you that apparently, so people are just doing their unboxing videos. Linus did his, Bitwit did his, Jay did his, but someone else got a sample card and they actually ran benchmarks on it. Everyone's doing it.
No, everyone has their benchmarks done. There's just an embargo until the 17th or something.
But here's the thing: someone released it.
I saw it. I might have even sent you the article that I saw and saw legit performance numbers. And you're looking at like minimum 40% increase on most games at 1080p. And you got to remember, I'm coming from a 1080, right? Yeah. The 2080 was X% better than mine, and now we're even X% better than that. So when I get my 3080, my grubby little hands on it, I'm going to see a legit performance increase.
Yeah, and not just something minimum. Like it's gonna be quite noticeable. And this, you got to remember those benchmarks that were released. Those weren't even with the correct drivers.
Correct.
Right?
That was with a hacked driver from the 20 series to put onto the 30 series because there is no official driver out for it yet.
Yes.
Yeah, that's incredible, right? Once we get a full legitimate driver, we're probably going to see 70% increase over most games, and that in itself is a significant number.
You know what's great about this whole thing, man? I was listening to some people talk about it, and they're like, "Why would Nvidia do this with the pricing for this? Especially considering we know people who just bought $1,400 cards, and now you can get a card that works better than that."
This is what they do every year, though. This is what they do every new generation, though.
But apparently, the 2080 series, they were saying that it didn't sell well enough for them to do it again the way they did it the last time. They were like, they needed to do something that was going to take care of the customers.
I have a thought on this. Go ahead. You finish your thought. I have a thought on this.
But of course, this is all speculation. It's conjecture. But some people feel as if though this is their way of getting back to releasing, after releasing a series of cards where there was no real noticeable performance boost. Maybe this was them doing something to give a nod to the consumers. I want to believe it. I want to think nice about that. But you're about to poop on that in 3?
No, I'm not gonna poop on it. This is I'm trying to look up the generations, right? Because we skipped the 8 series, I believe. Sorry, excuse me for being unprofessional for just a moment here.
Look it up. John McElroy.
Yes, we went from the 7 series to the 9 series. The 7 series to the 9 series was very similar from the 10 to the 8, right? where it was like, okay, this is this and this is that. It's marginal. It's better. It's it, right?
But no real drastic.
But from the
performance.
9 series to the 10 series
Mhm.
is where we see a generational leap, is what I'll call it,
Yeah.
right? Is where
Right.
it's like, okay, if you had a 9 series, cool. I didn't. I had a 7 series, right? Before I got my 10 series, right? But when you had a 9 series and you went and you saw the 10, that's the card that you needed to have. That's the jump that you needed. That, because that was legitimately performance increase 9 to 10, right? We're now seeing that again. Every few years we get a leap from Nvidia. This happens all the time, where you get this leap of like, okay, and then better, and then incredible, and then it goes to okay, and then better, and then incredible, and they do these every few years. We were due for one.
Let me ask you a question. Was the pricing in the previous generation where there was a huge exponential
So
leap?
that's the controversy, right? Where
Yeah,
so let's see, the 1080 was $550 reference, where the 980 was $550 reference.
Okay.
Like, no, we don't see these huge increases. But when you went to the 2080, it went to 800, right? Because they introduced this little thing called ray tracing, and they thought ray tracing was going to sell a billion graphics cards, and it didn't, right? So now we're seeing the prices not backed off, but stabilized. And for a long time, we saw this, say the 30, we call the 3080s the 8th series. The 8th series cards, the 780s, the 980s, the 1080s, the 2080s, right? We didn't see much of a price increase, and then we see a jump, right? We see a jump from 550 to 700, but that's over, how many, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was. So now we're seeing the 2080 to the 3080 at 700, which is appropriate at this point. Computer hardware is getting better. It's getting faster. It's getting more useful. There's a lot more things going on with the hardware. And at some point there is an increase in price that is justified. And I think at $700, which is what the last the 8 series released at, is absolutely fine.
I won't disagree with you there. I think when it's warranted, when you do see that jump in technology, obviously a business has got to do what a business has got to do. They have a bottom line to meet. They are one of 2 companies that provide this service, so they control the market right now. But it is nice to see at this point, even though I do feel bad for people who bought the more expensive card from last generation, especially if you made that purchase.
You don't buy computer hardware after 2 years of a card being out. Right? You just simply do not buy it, because there is a new card coming around, and you definitely don't buy it in August. You do not buy computer hardware in August. You see CPUs being announced. We're on the edge of our seat waiting for the new AMD stuff to be announced, right?
The 4000 series, man. Come on.
Oh, it's gonna be great.
Every day, any day now.
This is useless.
What?
You see graphics cards being announced, and every once in a while you get one of these big leaps, right? If you had bought a 1080 Ti and the 2080 was coming out, you wouldn't have kicked yourself in the pants, right? But from the 2080 to the 3080 you are, or the 2080 Ti to the 3080 you are. But realistically, it's your own fault for buying stuff in August, because this stuff comes out in September and October every year.
Unless you're doing the thing that I often do, which is I wait for the new version of the cell phone to come out. So
and then you buy the model after, because it goes down in price. That doesn't happen in graphics cards, though.
Oh, so there's no markdown on like the older?
No. No, absolutely not. You'll see and then the older it gets, the more expensive it gets, right? Because then it's rare, right? There isn't 1080 Ti's left, so 1080 Ti's are $1,500 right now, the ones that are still left in stock. So you're gonna see the $700 2080, and it's gonna sit at $700 or $800 forever.
You can get a 1060 anywhere though. They seem to be just giving these things away at this point.
1060s. If you can find like an actual brand new 1060, like buy it, because they're worth whatever money you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah, it's a good price point. I love you, Beatrice. You're doing a good job over there, just running the games, man.
Margaret Thatcher got kicked out.
Yeah, no, Margaret Thatcher is the whole computer. Beatrice is her heart.
So the CPU is Beatrice?
No, the CPU is Nebraska.
Nebraska. All right, I like it. All right.
You know what's crazy though? Last thing on this subject, right? I know AMD is going to release their card here pretty soon.
The graphics card is going to be a lower price point with a worse card. Let's be fair.
Worst card. I want to see what the presentation is going to be like. Also, I would like to see those two CEOs fight to the death. Yeah.
I think the AMD CEO is a woman, right?
Yes, she is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I have my money on her.
You got your money on her? She looks like she has a good
she looks
triangle.
sturdy.
Yeah, thick bones, ready for war.
Bones are all about the same size, buddy.
While we're talking about this type of stuff, man, we were discussing this in the pre-show, but Bloomberg is actually the sponsor for this show. Bloomberg Business. Whenever you need more money,
Ain't never have to work again.
Bloomberg. Actually, they called us to sponsor us. Whatever they asked us to do next, like, hey, money's coming, but we got a list. I'm like,
all right.
Consider the list done. We've been going back and forth on the new next gen console. I know where you stand. You know where I stand. We know what's coming. We've pretty much called it and predicted the pricing and how everything's going to go. But there was something I wanted to get your opinion on, was the manufactural cost of the PlayStation and
rumored, alleged manufacturing cost of the PlayStation.
Alleged. So we're looking here. I went back and read an old Bloomberg article. $450 to manufacture the PlayStation 5.
Okay.
Now, like we were going over before
Makes
the
sense.
show, they're willing to accept a loss, especially with things like PS Now. They're counting on the subscriptions, add-ons to the device, all that type of stuff. But we've already got the prices for the Microsoft devices. Some people are speculating that the actual console with the disc, the Blu-ray player, is going to be $600. Discless, which is going to be $500. No performance hit for the PlayStation 5 without the disc.
Okay.
It's going to run. It runs at the same specs as the one with the disc, just a lower price.
Here's the issue. I don't think that that's going to be true. They're going to release a lower spec model, right? They've already set this precedent with the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro, right? We already have this precedent set, so this is going to be it going forward.
How much later did the PlayStation Pro release after the original PlayStation Pro?
Was it a
year? A couple years.
No, I think was it a year or 6 months? I thought it was fairly shortly after.
I thought it was maybe 2 years. I could be wrong because I didn't get
it might be way later.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Just find out.
Because they had this right around the time when I started working at the school, which was the first time that I heard them mention 4K for the PlayStation 4. That doesn't mean that was the first time it happened, but that was the first time.
3 years. So it originally came out in November of 13, and then the PS4 Pro came out in 16, September of 16. So 3 years.
So that's what's making this whole thing interesting to me. I don't know, obviously, this portion. They are saying that there is no performance hit for the discless version of the PlayStation 5, which is interesting because it's going to be competing with the Xbox Series S, basically going heads up. But here's the cool thing about this, and someone pointed this out when I was listening to their stream today. It's like you can actually buy the Series S as kind of an impulse buy. It's like, hey, I'm normally a PlayStation player.
$300 though, right?
Yeah, but $300 for an impulse buy is not that bad.
Right, but once you start tacking on, Xbox Live, you have to pay an additional $60 on top of it, and then you have to rebuy that game that you already bought on PlayStation for another $60 on top of it, and that original impulse buy of $300 becomes $500 very quickly.
Unless you're one of those weirdos where you don't actually need to rebuy the game on the Xbox because you're like, hey, I have exclusive that I only play on Sony, and there are games that I've wanted access to on
Xbox.
On Xbox. That game being Halo. A lot of I will admit it, I know a lot of PlayStation players who are like, hey, man, the only game I ever feel like I'm missing out on is Halo.
Let's think about it. Let's think about it for a second though. That's the only real exclusive that they have, right? They have Forza. But what really other exclusive do they have on Xbox anymore?
There was one game.
PlayStation has always had the better exclusives.
Wait, Titanfall, for sure.
Titanfall is not an exclusive, I don't believe.
It's not. No, it's not.
No.
You can't get it on PlayStation.
I'm pretty positive you can.
You may be right, but I'm pretty sure I tried.
Yeah, the first thing I look up when Titanfall, I literally just type in Titanfall and Titanfall 2 PS4 comes up.
Does it?
Yes.
Damn it.
Yeah, you can get it on PlayStation.
You said PS2?
4. It was an EA game. It wasn't made by, the exclusives come from Microsoft or Sony, right?
Yeah.
They don't come from EA, for the most part, right? It can
Right.
happen. It has happened before, but dude, I don't think Microsoft really has exclusives anymore. Forza and Halo excluded.
There's got to be something else that can't be there. I know that was the big knock against the Xbox One when it came out, that there weren't enough exclusives on launch, and then even afterwards.
Gears, I guess.
Yeah, Gears. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Wow,
Everyone loves
one more
Gears.
game, huh?
Hey, everyone loves Gears except for you, man. People have a good time.
Halo, Gears, Forza, Sea of Thieves is
Forza.
really what I thought.
Now, Sea of Thieves, that's a game that keeps on giving.
It's a great game. They just released a DLC for it.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, and I haven't played it yet, but I'm going to soon. But
That could be your game.
the original Titanfall, it looks like, was an exclusive to Xbox.
Was it? Okay,
Yeah,
that makes
the
sense.
OG, yeah.
Because I remember my buddy playing it, and he was like, "Yeah, you can get it on PlayStation." I'm like, "I don't think I can." man."
Two went cross, and then
But here's the thing. So I do not saying that this is going to be a huge market for people, but I do think that's a chance for people to buy it. But it's interesting that PlayStation is releasing a console without a disc, and there's no performance hint, and that's going to be going against the Microsoft one. If you just stop and think about that for just a second, the only reason I feel like the console wars may have gotten a little bit more interesting is now I want to see how this splits the market. Like, what are people going to go for? I'm predicting that people who are below middle class.
Here's the thing. It doesn't fucking matter anymore. Everything is cross-platform. The console wars don't make sense anymore, dude. Because really, the console wars started on Call of Duty, right? They started on They really heightened in Call of Duty. Let's be fair. The console wars have always been there.
Right.
They heightened on Call of Duty because it was like, yo, are you going to play an Xbox? You're going to play Call of Duty. The better players are on Xbox. No, the better players are on fucking PlayStation, right? And I was on PlayStation, so clearly the better players are on PlayStation.
Makes sense.
That's where it started, but it doesn't matter anymore, man. Everyone can play together. It doesn't matter. PC players will always remain supreme, other than the fact that fucking aim assist is kind of OP in some games. Call of Duty excluded. I actually thought it was pretty fair.
That's if you play those type of games. I know this is a stretch for you. There are people who don't play those games.
But okay, let's look at other things, right?
Wait, hold on.
Fortnite.
I want to give you props because I thought there was a low blow coming. I thought I was for sure there was a joke. Round all those people up and get them into a small room and start shooting.
No. Let me play him in the new COD when it comes out. That'll be their embarrassment. But it doesn't matter anymore. Like at some point, the new Need for Speed game is now cross-platform, right? I could play with people on console when I'm on PC. Like,
it's crazy that Sony held out for so long on that, man. Like, they really did fight tooth and nail not to. You remember when that whole thing was happening? It was just
I know. I talked about it a lot.
Yeah, and then Epic it's just crazy to think about. Like, they were just
Epic is not the people who did it first.
Who did it for? Who strong-armed Sony in it? They were like, then we're going to remove the game off of your market.
That was Fortnite, I believe.
Yes,
but truly the people who did it first, the cross-platform originally, was Rocket League.
Oh, man, that game is so much fun. I can't play it ever again.
I don't get that, but you and your kids should play Rocket League. That shit would be hilarious.
No.
Get them all in. Give the little one a controller, too. That should be amazing.
What are we gonna have, like a LAN party? I gotta buy multiple PlayStations.
Yeah. And then you could be on your PC.
Dominate.
You already have like 3 PlayStations, so what does it matter?
5.
Exactly. So one step further than cross-platform, Call of Duty is going to be cross-generation.
Explain that.
PS4, PS5 will be able to play together.
Really?
Yeah, I thought. Wait, I'm sorry, Stevie. I love you to death. I thought cross generation was pretty self-explanatory.
No. When you said cross generation, I didn't think consoles. I was like, you're gonna be able to play
with old people.
No, you're gonna play an older version of someone else. I'm like, what, a newer version? I'm like, what? That doesn't make.
Yeah, so you're gonna be able to play PS4 and PS5 together. That's fairly interesting because they're releasing right on the edge, right? This is the game that'll have to do that. Next one won't have to worry about that. I'm curious about the netcode capabilities with that, but that's really about it.
It's crazy to think, man, that one day in the near future that the PlayStation 4 servers will come to an end. Right?
Not near future. PS3 servers are still up, aren't they?
Are they up? Oh, that's right. It was
there are some PS3 servers I believe are still up.
Yes.
Because I could log in. I've played Modern Warfare 2 a year ago on my PS3, and that's still up.
That's crazy that they're still going, man. I remember the big to do when the PlayStation 2 servers went down. All three.
But that was like what 4 years ago. The PS2 5 years ago, but the PS2 came out how long ago? 20 years ago?
So long ago.
99 or some shit, right?
Moses was walking around with
That's why, exactly. He was making dirt.
Moses never made dirt.
I was mixing that expression with the expression you're older than dirt.
It landed. It landed. You did.
So release date was originally 2000 for the PlayStation 2, and it technically was discontinued in 2013.
Wow.
But some servers still lasted. There are actually people right now trying to hack together SOCOM 2 servers. Did you hear about that for the PS2?
Yeah. I love those guys. You know what? I love the mod
Freaks.
homebrew community. No, what? Those are my people, man. So what if I watch a German guy stream for 3 hours while he's writing code for
Linux on his fucking PS3? That admittedly works kind of.
No, you know what the best thing about that guy's stream is the way he says tinkering. He's like, no, there's no reason to really do this unless you are into a little tinkering. And I'm just like, it sounds dirty. Like every time
it's fun though.
You know what though, man? It's gonna be interesting. It's an interesting time in the Holder house because right now I'm really, really caught in the decision: PlayStation 5 for the boy or a computer for the boy. I'm leaning more towards a computer for the boy.
Me too.
You don't get a say in this.
No, but I am an influencing partner.
You don't get to stand there at Christmas like, I picked that one out for you. I helped.
I don't like to stand there at Christmas. I'm not a Christmas stander.
You know what's crazy though? You know what's one thing I want to see go away, whether it's on console or PC. More so, this is a console thing. No, I don't think anyone really wants to stream their games. When I should say anyone, I don't really want to stream my games. I tried it with the PS Now, my PS Now subscription, and it's something that just
What do you mean? Like streaming it from one PlayStation to another?
No, streaming it from their servers instead of downloading it onto the PlayStation, like actually streaming it or doing the what is Google's failed thing that's still going on, Stadia. I don't know if there's.
I don't think it's failed.
It's still going. No, it's still up. It's still running. They're putting new games up in there. You can play some new stuff. But does anyone actually want to do this? Do you actually want to be like stream the games with the latency and all that stuff? Not me.
Man, there is an answer to that question, and it's generally no. Because of the latency. Now, I don't think you've ever used Steam in-home streaming. I don't know if you even are familiar with what that is.
I know. I know.
On my main PC, I have a bunch of games downloaded, right? But on my Mac, I could download Steam, go sit out in the living room, and play as if I were playing on here, and it's fairly lossless. It's actually fairly good.
Okay.
Not perfect, but fairly good, right?
Well, like after the nostalgia of 10 minutes of like, oh, now I'm sitting in my living room playing, and then you realize your family's around you, and you're like, oh, there's a reason I play.
I hate you people, and then walk away. No, I mean, realistically, if I wanted to, I'd bring my fucking computer out there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, but I don't want to. There's a TV over there I could play on.
That's why I always thought the PS Vita was so weird. Like when people were like, but look, you're not understanding.
But the PSP was awesome.
No, the PSP was amazing.
PS Vita, strange. PSP, strange. It fucked.
There is no stronger, and I'll fight anyone that says anything different. No stronger homebrew community than those weirdos who used to hack and mod the games onto the PS.
The PSP?
Yeah,
it was so easy, bro. It was so I could do it.
It's best homebrew community, man. I mean, we're talking about guys that are like, I guess the PS3 homebrew community is pretty legit too. Like anything you find,
weirdos.
Hold on for a second. We're not weird. We're just, not used to being around other people in public in the sunlight.
We're not socially adjusted.
Man, none of this matters anymore. You know why? Because the GOAT is getting ready to come back to MMA. This is what you really wanted to talk about. I've been watching his fights nonstop. Don't you fall asleep. We're talking about one of the greatest.
I've never seen a Nick Diaz fight.
Knocked Robbie Lawler out cold.
He was a good fighter from what I've heard.
Yeah.
Better than his brother, legitimate contender in his time.
Yeah.
Couldn't care any less.
This
When's
is
the last
going
time
to
he had a
be-
win? 6 years?
His last win was against Anderson Silva.
Really? He beats. I thought. He beat Silva. Interesting.
Yeah, that was the strangest fight in all of history. Like I bought that pay per
That was
view.
it was a no contest. It was overturned.
Was it? Did they? Oh, that's right, because he tested for he popped for weed or something like that. Didn't
His
he?
last win was October 29th, 2011,
He's the GOAT.
against BJ Penn. Dude, he was on a streak though. Holy shit.
You can't even understand how sick his jits is, amazing his cardio is, and
He
his
was on an
boxing.
11 fight win streak. Holy shit.
His boxing is actually very, 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 very good. Much better than his brothers. In fact, when he squares up and he actually strikes, some of the slickest boxing that you've ever seen. And it's amazing because his body work is great too. I'm just glad to see him coming back, man, because I want to see how he stacks up against whatever can they put against him. Because I want to see if it's actually. I mean, because what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You gonna throw him in there with a killer? You gonna put him up there?
What weight class is he fighting at? 85?
Yeah, he can fight at 85 or welterweight. But what are you gonna? Neither of those things are good situations for a man that's been sitting out this long. It's like, what are you like? Okay, let's give him Robert Whitaker at middleweight. That's a horrible fight. That's a horrible fight for a notorious slow starter, a durable fighter like Robert Whitaker. Like
Wow,
the reason
we'll see, man. We'll see.
Okay. Here's a good fight for him. This is the fight to make for him. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson.
No, Robbie Lawler.
No, nobody wants to see that again. Nobody wants to, because then you're taking MMA too old school, right? Now we got to go back to a time.
Maia.
No, oh, that would be a good Jits affair. That'd be good, but Damian Maia probably wins that one.
Neil Magny.
Ah, the GOAT. Every time you say his name, man, it's like someone said something.
Make him
divine.
fight his brother.
They would never do that. Actually,
Hold on. Did you hear that Masvidal Diaz 2 was a legitimate thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so fucking stupid, dude. I'm like one bad decision away from fucking writing the UFC off.
One bad decision, your own or theirs?
Theirs, not mine. I don't make bad decisions, admittedly.
Here's the thing, man. There's a market for it. People want to see the rematch. This is the type of stuff that's going to keep the company afloat a little bit longer until they kind of settle someone into as their new pay-per-view draw.
Yeah, who is it?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think that Usman, I agree with you now that Usman might start peering his head out as more of a draw. If they can, like, if they market him correctly.
Break into, like, Africa, like the legitimate African market.
Yeah, like there are a lot of Nigerians that follow him, and they're very appreciative that they have a champion now. Obviously, Francis Ngannou might be a huge draw for them in the future. I think the reason they're entertaining Big Diaz coming back is because he's a draw. Believe it or not, people do enjoy watching his fights. He's never been like
he's a name.
He's never been like, say, a Conor draw, but you know, he's a fun fighter to watch, and whoever they put him up against is going to be interesting because then you're going to get a lot of hardcores. They're going to watch that fight because they're going to want to see how he does in it. I honestly think, let me just make my case here for the Stephen Wonderboy Thompson situation, right? So you want to put him up against someone that's going to be a legitimate threat. You're going to want to put him up against someone that actually can bring the fight to him. I agree. Robbie Lawler would be a great one. I think Robbie Lawler, the only reason he wouldn't take that fight is because if he loses to him again, then that's it. That diminishes some of his own star power. And as much as Robbie is a just show up and bleed fighter, you need someone who's going to go in there and then make it competitive enough for people to tune in. I don't think it should be a pay-per-view fight. I don't care how. I don't, you put them 5 rounds on the ESPN Plus card.
You think he's immediately going to be a headliner?
Yes. People are going to tune in for that, but they're not going to tune in for pay-per-view. It's just it's an insult to the fans. But Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, this could be his step into the middleweight division. You give him someone who has been dominant in the middleweight division before. I'm willing to debate this with Luke Thomas or anyone else.
15 years ago, though.
15 years ago, the man is still in amazing shape. You cannot let those 2 morons fool you. They show up. The worst that one of the Diaz brothers has ever looked was Nate, and when he showed up to fight RDA, and he didn't make weight, which is a weird thing for either one of those guys because they usually
the only time either one of them has missed weight, I would imagine, right?
as far as I know, someone could probably pull up something from the past, but I think Steven would be a great fight for him, especially if we don't have to watch it be a grappling affair for the casuals, right? People want to tune in and they want to see a just bang fight, and I think that would be a good one. Also, you're putting Thompson up against someone who's very durable, right? He's not going to go down with a head kick. He's not going to go down from a spinning body kick, and he's going to bring the fight to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and you don't have to worry about Wonderboy just laying back, relying on the karate point style of fighting. I think it would actually be really good. Also, I don't think there's anyone else you could really put him against that he isn't going to get demolished. We would just talk, but there's no one else in the welterweight division or middleweight. Can you name anyone besides Uriah Hall at middleweight that you would feel comfortable putting him against?
Oh, man.
You don't want to see him fight Anderson Spider Silva again, do you?
No.
You didn't see the first fight, thank God. Go ahead.
Chris Weidman.
Oh. That's a good fight.
You thought I was gonna come up with some bullshit, didn't you?
The only reason it's a good fight is because, oh man, I love Chris Weidman, man. He is the he's the big Frankie Edgar.
He is. What's the kid's name that Ronda coaches? Shabazian?
Oh, what about that guy?
That'd be a good fight for Nick Diaz.
It's not a big enough name for Nick, man.
He's ranked 11 right now, though.
Who cares?
That's a good point. The rankings don't fucking matter.
What are you talking about? Rankings? Is this
Hermanson?
Hermanson. Oh, you know who? Well, Derek Brunson. There you go.
Ooh, I think Brunson would smoke him. I think.
Yeah, Brunson comes in with that sloppy fighting style, man. Like, I can't imagine what his striking coach feels like when he goes in. He's like, "We've been working on this for 3 months, Derek."
Cutting his own hands off.
I thought that was pretty funny in your stream where you were like, "Steve, you move like this just a little bit. You got more head movement than Ronda Rousey." And I'm like, "Oh, poor Ronda." Jesus. Anyway,
we got in other UFC news though. Hold on, let's be fair. If we're going to do UFC, we should do it all together.
Oh God.
The other UFC news is the fact that Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson is not happening.
Yeah, it's off, man.
It's off because they won't pay Dustin, and Dustin's refusing to fight.
Yeah,
and I absolutely agree with Dustin on this one.
Yeah, I'm with Dustin. I mean, so he doesn't have a leg to stand on, of course, legally. If he's in his contract and they just recently negotiated that contract, obviously you don't have anything to stand on. Here's the thing, right? You might have more wiggle room on the pay-per-view buys, right? I want more points on the pay-per-view buy, but you can't. It's going to be hard pressed at this point with this economy, with their parent company, the UFC's parent company, not doing well themselves.
To a WME.
Yeah, to negotiate a new contract.
We might be able to sweep in and buy the UFC pretty soon.
I'm saving my shekels.
Me too.
But it's like you're not going to be able to renegotiate that contract, but you have a better chance of renegotiating your pay-per-view buys. Yeah. Like, hey, I want this many points. But that sucks that it's off, dude. That really does suck that it's off.
I wonder what he wanted, right? Dustin Poirier is one of the guys, in my opinion, that the UFC should take care of. Robbie Lawler is another one of those guys that always comes to mind. The Cowboys, Pettis, anywhere. Fuck Neil Magny.
No, dude, he shows up for them, dude. He is before he got injured,
but he's just awful. Just the people who show up anytime, anywhere. Edgar, that's a good one. They need to be taken care of, and I think Poirier. What his last 8 fights or fight of the nights or some shit, like performance bonuses / fight of the nights, like he deserves to be taken care of.
No, I mean, absolutely. I can't believe I'm sitting on this side of the table for once. I'm saying economically, you are not going to get them to raise your contract at all at this point. You have a better chance. I'm not saying this towards you, but
they're not paying me anything, so I think I have a chance.
Yeah, you do. You have a great chance. Dana would probably strangle both of us, and he's like, "I heard what you said about me on your show." Just kill us both. But it's just like I think you need some real powerhouse lawyers in there, and like that has to be something negotiated in the contract previously. I know nothing about UFC contracts, but there has to be some clause that says, "Hey, we have to be able to sit down and renegotiate the pay-per-view buys."
There's always that. UFC is also notorious for renegotiating a contract every time a fighter fights. I don't know if you know this or not.
I did not know that.
A lot of times when a fighter fights, especially if it's going to be a headline, they will entice them with a new contract. Hey, we're going to bump you up to this amount of money for the next X amount of fights, but we just we don't worry about that contract. We're going to get rid of it. Here's a better one, right? And if this was the case, and they said that the Dustin's like, hey, actually, you know what? This is right, and I think I deserve this much money. And the UFC is like, well, actually, we're going to go back to the original contract. And he's like, you know what? Actually, fuck you. And I think that's what happened, and I think that's what's appropriate.
I would be interested to know what his current contract is. What his show?
It's probably not enough. Probably not enough.
Yeah. He's been with them for what? 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years maybe. Can't be 10 years already. Can't be 10 years already. How many fights? Do you know how many fights he has left on this contract at this point?
I have no idea.
They're gonna renegotiate. They'll probably come back to the table on this thing, but it's funny because
it's 9 years. His first fight in the UFC was January 1st, 2011. It's actually closer to 10 years than it is 9 years at this point.
You know, the crazy thing is, so the same thing with the whole John Francis thing. I think they will circle back to this fight, you know, but they say no all the time the first time around, man. And I can't even count on my hand how many fights on both my hands, how many fights were not supposed to happen, and then they came back to the table on it because it was like, all right, we need to sit down and make this happen. Most notoriously, I think that happens the most with George St. Pierre. People think it's Conor McGregor, but George has managed to get more money out of them a few times.
Silva too, right? Wasn't Silva big on that? And I was right. Dustin Poirier's last 8 fight were Fight of the Nights.
Yeah. So see, what's he complaining about? Got 50,000 each of those. It's not a poor man.
No, he's not, but he deserves to be compensated.
No, absolutely. But let's just call it what it is. You want to be compensated because you're going up against a dangerous fighter. I'd say that out loud. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you just say it like, hey, you know who Tony Ferguson is. This could very well be my last fight. I don't know what this guy's going to do when I step into the octagon. He might actually bite me. And who knows when his last Texas shot was?
Good point. Who knows when his last Texas shot was? Holy shit.
But it's a shame. I'm going to mourn the fight because that was going to be amazing. I actually had Dustin winning that fight. In my mind, I saw Dustin beating the brakes off of Tony Ferguson.
I did the same way Gaethje did. Yeah. I agree. I just don't know what the exact terms of the contract. I would have to read the contract, right? And I don't have that ability. I don't have it in front of me all the time.
Conor got tested on his yacht, by the way, since we're talking about MMA.
I don't give 2 fucks about it. Conor's like, but I'm retired, bro. And the top comment on Twitter literally was, well, I mean, you could be an adult and just remove yourself from the USADA testing pool.
Because he's not retired, man. He's not retired. As soon as he gets below 30 million, he's going to need to take a fight. You know, because he's the type of guy who's like, I don't want to go below 30.
Who the fuck is he going to fight, man? If I was anybody in the UFC,
Nick Diaz.
Fuck it, sign me up.
Nate Diaz. Like,
nope, don't care.
Everyone would pay for the third fight.
I don't care. I don't care.
I know you don't care now, but by the time the ad promos got through with you and then one boring Friday night, you'd be right there with me on a Saturday night watching that.
Here's the issue, right? Nate Diaz is the more active fighter right now. And he's fought once.
I mean, who else? I mean, obviously they would put him up against. It's funny. At one point, there was like clamoring from people. They wanted to see him fight Anderson Silva, and I'm like, you guys are trying to get this dude killed. I'm like, you realize Anderson Silva has fought at light heavyweight before? Right? Like the man walks around at like 215, 220.
I don't think Anderson Silva doesn't beat him though.
Anderson Silva. Power wise, he beats him. Conor gets hit with the wrong punch. He's going. When's the
last time you saw Anderson Silva fight that you thought it was competitive?
Man, I'm trying to think.
It's been years, man. It's literally been years.
Are we talking about pre-Blue Juice or post-Blue Juice?
But how long ago was Blue Juice? 6 years ago?
Yes. Yeah, about 6 years.
But that's the issue, right? Is that we're not.
Who's he fought in the last 3 years? He's fought a couple of times, hasn't he?
Israel Adesanya.
Brunson. Then he got hurt his leg fighting another guy. Oh, the guy that's gonna fight freaking Robert Whitaker. Right? That was the guy. What's that guy's name?
Cannonier.
Yeah, didn't he? He fought Cannonier.
He
Didn't he?
beat Derek Brunson, but that was 3 years ago, right?
Man,
And that was old Derek Brunson, right?
What?
His
He's
last,
had one fight. He's had one fight that makes him look different. You're calling it old Derek Brunson?
not this new reinvigorated goat of Derek Brunson. His last win was a year later than Nick Diaz. He beat Stephan Bonner in 2012.
Oh man, poor Stephan Bonner. He threw that spinning back kick, and that was like the worst. Have you
And
seen?
he tested positive for some metabolite that same fight. I don't. This is
Did he?
yeah, the
Yeah, but they didn't
Baldwin.
overturn it though.
No, it
They didn't-
wasn't. Well, because Anderson Silva won.
You know what? You know what's crazy, man? I miss those days in the UFC, man. Stephan Bonner, Forrest Griffin, Rashad Evans. This is when people were like, "Man, this is
Chael
a new
Sonnen.
dude." Chael,
They
do you
fought
know that
too,
Rashad
yeah.
Evans was supposed to fight DC?
I'm sure.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine Rashad Evans in there with DC, and instead they gave him poor Dan Henderson? Who booked that fight? They were just trying to get Dan Henderson killed. Let's get off the UFC, man. Nick Diaz is the GOAT. Neil Magny's the GOAT.
Too many goats. Too many goats. Actually, while we're talking about contract disputes, actually, let's go right into the Canelo stuff.
This is
You
dirty
had
business.
brought this up to me, and I'd like for you to lay it out again.
All right. So here's the long and short of it, man. So we remember when Alvarez signed his new contract with, how do you pronounce the name of the company again?
DAZN.
DAZN. And DAZN has made the claim that they are ending traditional pay-per-views. That's their whole buy. You know, Bellator has done some of their events on there, and Oscar De La Hoya has promoted them pretty heavily. So here is the meat of the argument.
Golden
He was
boy.
promised $360 million for his contract, right?
10-fight
That
deal.
was, yeah, 10-fight deal. That would have made him the highest paid combat sports athlete to date. Obviously, Floyd Mayweather has destroyed that record a few times over,
Mm-hmm.
but that's needless to say. Here's the problem, though, in the world of boxing. So he made this deal with DAZN. He also made a deal with his promotion. I'm going to try to keep this all clear and concise. The promotion had a second contract with DAZN. Their contract with DAZN was for $65 million. They were going to give him, him being Canelo,
$40 million. You're
million
butchering this. Would you like me to lay it out?
No, I'm not butchering it. I'm giving it to you the exact way that it came to me. So I got a lot of sources in the street, and I got to protect them.
But
All right.
Can you just give us the facts? I don't want to know what you heard. I want to know the facts.
Those are the facts.
No,
so
it was
they were
$40 million per fight. That's the fact.
Yeah, the fact that was going to Canelo.
No, $35 million per fight was going to Canelo. $40 million was going to Golden Boy, and then Golden Boy was paying Canelo $35 million per
Wait,
fight.
who was getting the $65 million?
Nobody. I don't know where you got this number. You sent me this 9-minute video to watch of a guy that I didn't enjoy listening to, but it gave me the information factually. So I can appreciate. I just didn't like him. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't fucking like people.
I've noticed that you don't like people with silver hair.
That's a good point. I've never really thought about that before. Okay, so this is the facts, right?
Go for it.
DAZN signs a deal. I'm using quotation around DAZN signs a deal with Canelo. Really what happened is Canelo signs a deal with Golden Boy for $35 million a fight for 10 fights, right? For the next 5 years or whatever it is. Fights twice a year, $70 million a year. Golden Boy signs a promotional deal with DAZN for $40 million a fight for 10 fights for Canelo.
Network deal.
Same shit, right? But they're not a network. Let's be fair. They're a platform. So we want to call it a platform deal.
That was the language of the contract. It was like they put that in there, and I thought that was weird. But go ahead.
Okay, whatever. So I'm glad you can remember that. So
Listen.
the way that it was going to work is that the money was coming from DAZN to Golden Boy Promotions. Promotions was going to pay the $35 million a fight to Canelo. Right. Now, Canelo claims that he had no idea of that secondary contract. That's where the dispute. Well, actually, that's not where the dispute quite comes in, right? Because the contract between Golden Boy and DAZN says that DAZN can deny Canelo's fights, right? And pick and choose who Canelo fights, and was also guaranteed a number of Golovkin fights and high level and high big name fights for promotional reasons, right? And on the Canelo Golden Boy contract, Canelo had the final word. And I think that's where the dispute actually comes in. He's fought twice on it. I don't know who he fought either time. He didn't fight Triple G, I don't think.
He fought the middleweight champion that he starched, and there was another guy. So at the root of this whole thing, this is one of the things that's always frustrated me about boxing. So the promotion and the promoter and the fighter typically shouldn't get to pick the next contender. You actually gets picked by who the ranking fighter is coming up.
WBC or whatever.
Exactly.
Kovalev.
So,
Kovalev is what it was.
That he actually, I would say, I'm not a Canelo fan, but he actually looked amazing in that fight, and I want to give him all
very good. I think Canelo's a great fighter.
I want to give him all the props he deserves in that. So the root of the argument here is: does DAZN have the right to pick fights for him? They're saying that they don't want him to fight any more cans, that he has fought cans, which is very disrespectful to the two fighters that he did fight, because they weren't cans. Maybe they weren't as dangerous as Triple G. We spoke about this pre-show, that was probably what they wanted. They wanted to see that third Triple G fight, which, by the way, I'm on a proponent for, because I do feel like Triple G got robbed in the first fight. Second fight went the way that it did.
Both fights. He got robbed in both fights, and I will say that.
I'm trying to be as mature about it as possible. The first fight was 100% was a robbery. It was that was a robbery. Here's the question on the table for all my pugilists. Does this mean, does your promoter get to decide who you're going to fight? Does your promoter get to decide behind your back how many fights you should have and who you should be fighting? That's the situation here.
Actually, no, I think you're wrong on this, right? Because Golden Boy is technically the promoter. What the real issue is the network that your stuff is going to be on. Do they get to decide your fights, right? Does HBO get to decide who Mike Tyson fights next? Is essentially what the correct. Wait, did he fight on Showtime or HBO?
He was HBO. Floyd was Showtime.
Okay. Right, that would have been that's the correct comparison, right? Does HBO get to choose it instead of, I don't know who his promoter was, right? Promoter generally is going to choose it, right? I think that's how it traditionally works in boxing.
No, it's not. That's the problem. It's supposed and I'm not screaming at you. This is how effed up this whole situation has gotten. You and I both fight in the WBC, right? If I'm the next,
I'd rather fight the IBF, but okay.
If I'm
the WBO. The WBA?
If I'm the next contender,
the NABF,
you fight
the WBO, NBO, NABO,
BET, NBC, ABC, MTV.
So I haven't even listed half of the sanctioning bodies yet. I'm sorry.
No, and this is not. We can go really deep on it, because there have been some actual. One of the saddest tales of this was I forget the fighter's name. I just sent you his reel the other day, but he fought Chavez's son, but he got his belt stripped from him, and a calamity like this. The fact of the matter is, your promoter does not get to pick your fights.
Okay.
It's supposed to go to the
sanctioning body.
Exactly. And because there's so many backroom deals that go on, fights can get pushed off. They can get delayed forever. And this is why I always think it's funny when boxing fans accuse MMA, the sport. They usually say UFC because they think that's the sum total of the sport, of ducking the highest ranked opponent. I'm like, this has been happening in boxing forever. But the question is, did De La Hoya make this deal telling Canelo one thing while telling DAZN another?
Yes.
Now let's look at the character of De La Hoya. Let's look at his business practices.
Yes. The answer is yes. The short answer is yes.
Would Golden Boy. Allegedly, my speculation, yes. Yes, he did this, man. He is at the root of this thing, and he is screwing. And I'm not even a person who likes Canelo's personality, dude. I think he was a sore
personality.
Loser. Oh no, he's got a lot of it, dude. Canelo is the epitome. He's the Wayne Gretzky of boxing. He is a prima donna.
Oh my God! Don't you ever disrespect a great one like that? Don't you ever talk about 99 like that? You could talk about Sidney Crosby like that. That would be a fair comparison. You could talk about Austin Matthews like that. Don't you dare bring the great one into this.
So it's funny because CBS News, their news article, their paper outlet covered this, and even they said, judging on what Sugar Shane Moses, you know who that is, Sugar Shane Moses?
I've heard the name for sure. I've probably seen him too.
another pound for pound great, had some bad deals and some bad business deals, but he's been in constant litigation with Golden Boy Productions for years, spent over $1 million in litigation fees just trying to get paid for fights that he had on their promotion. Do you understand like how crazy that is to have fought, lost, been injured, been hospitalized, and still be owed hundreds of millions of dollars? And the thing was, like, I told you I'd get that money back. You just got to push that button on your phone. And I'll get it all back for you, every last dime. But here's the thing, man. So apparently, this is where we get into, allegedly, according to Canelo, that De La Hoya had been telling him, because they hadn't paid him for his last couple of fights, or not paid him the full amount, and he'd been telling him that they were going to take care of him. This is always bad business practice. If you're supposed to get paid and someone says, hey, don't worry, we're going to get to you and take care of you. But this has happened so many times that Canelo felt like there is no point that he can have a working business relationship with Oscar from this point on. And Oscar is trying to position himself in this entire thing, at least with the optics, that this is not me. I didn't screw you over. DAZN is screwing you over. And everyone else is watching this play out. And it's like, this is a bad look for boxing, for a sport, admittedly, that was already struggling with these type of things, right? How many stories have you heard about the mob influencing fights, people throwing fights to improve the points in Vegas? And it's like, it's not like these things can't happen in MMA, but it's a sad look, especially when you're talking about what could potentially be the pound for pound king, right? You don't want to see this guy.
There's an argument that Canelo is the pound for pound best right now. Absolutely. Yes. I honestly, I think Lomachenko might actually be the pound for pound best. He has very few professional fights compared to what Canelo does. But yeah, I mean, you can look at his body of work and just how he fights, and you can tell that
I think he will go down in history as one of the greatest. It'll be funny to see how many more people are going to keep. His problem is people are ducking him, and that's
Lomachenko.
That's not.
Bro, I would too, man. That guy has maybe the single best footwork I've ever seen.
It's beautiful. Sergio Martinez. That's yes.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. On who it was. I was gonna say I didn't want to interrupt from earlier, but
this is the thing that pisses me off about this whole situation, man. And like, I'm trying not to be. This is me trying not to be emotional about the situation, which is the fact that we're still dealing with characters like Oscar De La Hoya. Now, this is a man that has spoken so poorly about Floyd Mayweather. And let's just talk about that for a second. Floyd Mayweather is not what I would consider a role model or a good guy, right? He has had run-ins with the laws, domestic violence charges. It is what it is, man. He went to jail for that, and if he should have got more time for it, he should have got more time. I'll never argue against, the consequences for those type of things.
Sure.
But here's what we can learn from a fighter. Young fighters can learn from a Floyd Mayweather. He took his destiny into his own hands, right? His promoter, he used to be on the same promotion as Oscar De La Hoya. His promoter was promoting Oscar way more than him. So this is when he switched from Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather to get the fight with De La Hoya, embarrassed them in that fight, all the way up through the promotion and the actual fight. There was no competitive point at all. But he took his money, he took his destiny into his own hand. And I would like to see more fighters do that. Maybe cut the promoter out, or at least put them in the right perspective, which is, hey, you work for me. This is not the other way around. You would have nothing to promote if I wasn't available as a fighter, right? It's just the sad truth. But so many of these promoters are gatekeepers to every situation, and they've worked their way into it where, they could stop you. Your opposing promoter can stop you from getting a fight with the guy you deserve to fight.
Sure.
I know I'm standing on my soapbox, but like, you're ranked number 1. I'm ranked number 2. I've beaten everyone under me. It's time to go.
Yep.
And that's the bottom line, dude. That's the bottom line, and it sucks. And you should get paid for your efforts. I feel as strongly about this situation as you do UFC pay, because not only is it a lot of money on the line, we're talking about the future of a sport as well. And this is when people start jumping ship from boxing to MMA, when it becomes a little bit
just jumping ship, right? There's a chance that people just jump ship off of this and all right, fuck it, combat sports are dumb. We're gonna go watch football because it's the same every year. And it makes life a little bit easier. Here's the issue, right? Canelo's the type of fighter who will inspire the next generation of fighters, right? I enjoy watching Canelo fight. I think Canelo is an incredible fighter, and you watch Canelo and you're like, holy shit, like I want to be like this guy, right?
He's grown a lot as a fighter too.
After the Floyd fight,
Yes,
After the
thank you.
Floyd fight, he's an incredibly different fighter, much more
Polished.
polished, much he's much better fight IQ, I believe. I think he took a
Yeah,
lot from that Floyd fight and really has grown from that.
and put it into use. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
for
100%
sure.
correct.
Here's another question. How
Yeah.
much money is Canelo going to win from this?
Oh, so
My
you're
bet
familiar. Go
is he
for it.
gets out of the contract but wins zero money.
I figured you were going to say that. I think that he's going to get at least 40, because it depends on how much money each one of the company each company has, right? So we'd have to crack the books and
Right,
see where
he's gonna be. This would bankrupt both DAZN and Oscar De La Hoya twice over. Right, that's why
Yeah.
I'm saying I think at this point in his career, he's 30 years old. Boxing, what you fight until about 38 or so, right? And that's
Yeah.
where you're out of your prime, and then you fight legacy fights until about the mid 40s, and then sometimes into your 60s if you're Mike Tyson,
Ugh,
or
that's gonna be an
50s. I don't know
amazing fight.
yeah, it'll never happen.
Tuning in.
I don't think he gets anything out of it. This is a very clear case. It's very cut and dry. It shouldn't be like this goes to the court of law. This is a half a day's proceeding, and everyone takes lunch and goes home. Like,
Yeah, the problem is that so he wins the first case, right? Judge says pay him everything.
then the
right?
appeal comes, and
Yeah, and the appeal comes. I think eventually, when it's all said and done, he gets maybe 60% if it's available.
you think there's no way that either company could afford it? That's the issue. That's what I'm
if
saying.
That's if they don't get liquidated and all their, everything is seized and that type of stuff. I'm looking
Canelo's like, I own both Oscar De La Hoya himself and DAZN. We're doing all of the fights now, boys. I'm quitting fighting. I'm a promoter now.
Dude, it's crazy. If you ever want to see the inner workings of the different variations of the boxing bodies, watch Sergio Martinez's documentary, and just to see what he went through, right? And to see how he was stripped of his belt. Like, I had heard of stuff like this before, and like people would talk to me, but
so crooked, man.
it's extremely crooked. And I worry because Dana comes from that world. People don't know that about him. He comes from the boxing world.
Yeah,
and he very much has that ingrained in him and in the way he deals with people. But no one in the UFC right now is getting screwed out of $350 million.
Bro, they have not paid collectively over the entire time the
course.
UFC has been a thing. They have not paid $350 million, and I would be willing to put fucking money on that.
With that said, now that we've sang Canelo's praises and we've come to the agreement what
He still
right
is
right,
a ginger,
wrong,
and I don't appreciate that.
fight him on site. I still think we need.
I'm good, bro. I'm good. You can have all the fun you want with that. I'm not getting fucking.
I still think we need the Triple G fight, the third one. So let's take it from a fan's perspective, right? Because somewhere there's a crotchety fan that's, and I would agree with this crotchety fan. They're like, you know what? DAZN is right. He shouldn't get paid this much money to fight cans. He should fight the most dangerous fighter every time he steps in there. And you have an argument. Sure. And your argument is correct. He should be going up against the top for the amount of money that we're going to pay him. Best of the best all the time. But that's just not how it works, man. And it sucks. It sucks on both ends. Sucks for the fighter, sucks for the fan. But I think Triple G is old. And let me tell you why. I'm going to make my case, man. Mm-hmm. They ducked that poor man until he was a certain age where they thought it was the best time to fight him.
And then he still
and a lot of people. So here's, yep. And here's where you got to be consistent, right? So Canelo or his fans, as you say, I've never heard him say this. They felt like the Floyd fight was too early, which is probably true. But he took the fight
too early in Canelo's career.
Yeah, too early in his career. He was too green to go up against someone like Floyd. But I guarantee that's not what his team was telling him. That's not what they were telling him. They're like, you can beat this guy. All the way down from his trainer up to Oscar, they were like, you can beat him. You've seen reels on him. You can beat him. But at the same time, there are people who would defend Canelo and say, no, he fought Triple G when he was supposed to. I'm like, that's a lie. That's an absolute lie. That like he fought him when
5 years earlier, or not 5 years, but like 5 fights earlier, probably.
Well, we can go into coulda, shouldas. I would really like
the same. It's the same situation with Pacquiao versus Mayweather.
Yeah, 100%.
Don't get me started on that. Happened literally 5 years earlier.
And the only reason it did. Oh, you want to even go even more? Sugar Ray Leonard versus Hands of Stone. I forget Robert Duran. The first fight happens.
We were literally talking about stuff before I was born. So
Okay, all right. Well, it's one of the. It's. I'll send you the reels. Let me explain it. So at the time, Sugar Ray Leonard is America's champion. Robert Durant comes in. He is the champion of, the small people, of poor people. He's going up against the American champion.
Small people.
No, not small in stature, like small in consequence.
I know what you meant. I know what you meant.
And he embarrassed Sugar Ray Leonard throughout the entire fight.
Holy shit, dude. I look at that. Sugar Ray Leonard's last fight, like last legitimate fight, was 91.
Yeah, bro.
And he fought
Sugar Ray
Hector
Leonard.
Camacho in 97, but
Oh, Camacho was one of the greats. So Sugar Ray Leonard fights him the second time, right? The infamous no mas, right? He's embarrassing Durant to the point where he's at some point Durant says in the fight, no mas, doesn't come out, loses all his Latino machismo because of this. People they make fun of him in his own country sometimes regarding this thing. Sugar Ray Leonard years later admitted the reason the third fight took so long, he's like, because I could. He was like, I didn't want to take the chance to fight you hungry, coming off an embarrassing loss. So he made the man wait like 9
years.
Yeah. 9 years for the trilogy fight. What they did to Triple G is wrong, but I still think, I'm saying it here, Triple G would beat Canelo in the next fight. I think he puts him down and puts him away.
Dude, I feel like if Triple G has already proved himself, it doesn't matter anymore, honestly.
It matters to him.
Sure, and it matters to the records, and it matters to the fucking governing bodies, right? And it matters to the casual fan. But
it matters to God.
You're taking it way too far from me, my friend. I don't know. Triple G, another fight would be amazing. I like both fighters. I actually think Triple G should have been the favorite, should have won the first fight, should have won this fucking second fight. The second fight was more of a draw than the first fight. Right, let's be fair. Canelo fought a better fight the second fight than he did the first.
Smarter fight, way smarter fight.
But it was still bullshit. So,
I've been meaning to ask you, what do you think about the young guy? Is it Ryan Garcia or Danny Garcia? Is that his name?
The Ryan Garcia, the Twitter kid, is what the Twitter Garcia is what I'm going to call him. The kid with the super fast hands.
Yeah, amazing boxer. It's not just speed. He's like
no. I get it, but he blew up on Twitter because of how fast his hands are. Yeah. I mean, he's interesting to watch for sure because he's actually a really fucking good fighter. He's fast enough to embarrass me. I think who did he want to fight?
He wanted to fight one of Floyd's boys.
Right, the one that Floyd kind of likes and kind of doesn't. Devontae Adams. I think it's early in Garcia's career to fight Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams he hits really hard. He's in his own right. He's a good fighter, but he never makes weight. I think Garcia could beat him, but I think he needs two more years of experience. And I think Garcia is going to be a world beater at some point.
It's funny. He was hanging out with Francis not too long ago. I thought that whole exchange was pretty funny.
Garcia?
Yeah, he was hanging out with Francis and Ngannou. They like
that is like the two opposite. I think Ryan Garcia is what, like a 24 or something, right? Is it like a
I don't think he's that. I think he's like, what is he, like 21 or something?
No. I'm saying like, what weight does he fight at? 124 or some shit like that?
Oh yeah. He's looking at anyone standing next to Francis.
I would look small next to Francis.
You know what the crazy thing about Francis is he's so soft spoken. He seems
like a really like sweet guy.
Like he picks up your cat and he's like, "This is a beautiful cat."
My cat would freak the fuck out. My cat freaks out when anyone touches him.
So what do you if you're Canelo's lawyer? What are you telling him right now?
I'm telling Canelo I want 10% and we're gonna go to fucking town. Because this is the easiest case I've ever seen in my entire life. I could walk into the courtroom and make a fucking deal with it. It really is not. I don't think it's that hard. I think they made a fucked up deal on the outside. If Canelo actually did request the contract and they couldn't sequester it and it turns out the way that it is and he's siphoning money essentially through Oscar De La Hoya and he's losing $5 million a fight because of it, then he's screwed out and he needs a new contract or he needs to make a contract directly with an HBO or a show. Showtime's not in boxing anymore, right? Or is it HBO's not in boxing? HBO's not in boxing anymore.
Really?
Yeah, one of them. Showtime or HBO is not in boxing anymore. I think it's HBO. I think they got rid of boxing. But he needs to sign a deal with a better promoter and someone who's going to pay him fairly for how big of a star power he has.
Yeah. I was never really sold on the whole DAZN thing, man. It looks like some weird
Super
scam.
sketch. And with Bellator going to CBS now, I think they were on DAZN for a while, right?
Yeah.
I think that's going to go away too. I think DAZN popped up in a sketchy time with from an unknown source, and that's always super sketchy to me.
Yeah, yeah. I would have need to have seen your books before I stepped into such a lucrative deal. Like I need to know that you have that capital, and I don't know if that's
man, you're
like,
so right.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like I need proof of that. You sell me like, hey, Steve, yeah, 350 million, no problem. We got you. I'm like, hold on, can you prove to me that you have that type of money? Like, what's going on? Are the Russians on your computer? They own
no. I'm
Be
trying
careful.
I'm trying to find out who some of these people are, because the CFO of DAZN is Stuart J. Epstein.
That's not a great name, man.
That's not a good name right now, so I'm curious. I'm curious who these people are, and you know, it was only founded in 2015 in London, and I don't. The DAZN Groups owns it, and yeah, their revenue is 208 million a year. Their net income was 4.6 million. They can't afford this deal. You know, they went public at one point and then went back to private, and that's always a super sketch. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what DAZN was or what Canelo was thinking. I mean, listen, so if someone shows up to my door, it's like, here's $365 million over the next 10 things that you do here, and I'm like,
because the reason he was able to negotiate that deal was because he's supposed to be the draw. So everything hinged on him being the draw and being able to produce those numbers.
sure.
But that's
a sketchy bet, man.
Yeah, that especially, no disrespect to Canelo, man. Like I know what he represents and what market he represents it in, but he's not that guy. I don't care what you say. He's not that guy, dude. Like there's a narrative that goes with Floyd. People are paying to see him get beat. Let's be honest.
Right.
Like you know.
Yeah, I'm looking at his last 3 pay-per-view events. Canelo Chavez, Canelo Golovkin 2 sold 1 million, 1.3 million, and 1.1 million. Which, to be fair, is 80 million, 110 million, 120 million.
Yeah.
Which could support it, right? But fuck, man, that's sketchy.
And plus they're relying on the gate and stuff. And that's another thing that we should be honest in our representation of this. This is one thing I forgot to leave out. There's no gate right now, right? And that's another argument DAZN is making.
I had this exact conversation with my father tonight over dinner when I was talking about the contract situation, right? It's he knows a lot about money, so it's very interesting. And he was like, this is where lawyers get involved, but he's like, how are they making money right now? And he's like, isn't most of it off of gate? And I'm like, I agree. And it's like, there is no gate right now. You can't. So there is no money to be made right now. Canelo couldn't fight until the middle of next year, potentially at earliest, if everything goes to perfect plan, right? I don't see, man, I don't see boxing ever making that kind of money during these times, at least. The pay-per-views will be okay, but they're cutting half of their revenue off.
So if you got a Tyson versus the Gypsy King type of situation, people are going to tune in. You can make quite a bit of money off a pay-per-view for that. You understand where I'm heading with this. Canelo's not that fighter. This was a bad deal, and I think I would have had someone's got to be in your ear other than Oscar De La Hoya saying like, hey, this is a great deal. Let's do it. Admittedly, Zach and I are not lawyers, but I think common sense plays in. What's wrong with asking the question like, I'm going to need to see your revenue stream. I'm going to need to see.
Right. Let me see the revenue plan. How much money did you make over the last 3 years? If something happens like a global pandemic, how are we going to sustain this through the next 3 years? Right. There was a lot of questions I would have had other than where do I sign? You know?
Like what level of promotion how much is this contingent upon me being that type of draw?
And what are my obligations, right? Like, is half of this going to be paid in DAZN stock or some weird negotiating tactic?
I don't want any stock
in some fucking shell company for some people that I almost went down a deep dark path that I'm not going down.
You pay me in gold or you pay me in silver, but I don't want any pieces of your company.
I don't even want platinum because that shit could be faked.
Here's a crazy thing. We just made the argument for Dana. I don't know if you know that, but there being no box, that's another reason no one's getting their contracts renegotiated right now, too. Like, there's no.
But they're selling more pay-per-views than they have the entire, like, forever. Right.
Yeah,
but what does UFC make from Gate compared to their pay-per-views? I think it's like
that's the question.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to take a I'd have to audit fucking the UFC. Like, I'd like to audit your last 3 pay-per-view events that had Gate and versus not Gate.
Dana's gonna be like, who the
someone get this guy out. How did he get past security? He had a clipboard. People with clipboards are important.
This image of Dana sitting at his table and the tomato slides out of his sandwich. It's like, somebody get this guy out of here.
He doesn't eat sandwiches, tomatoes on it. Come
get
on.
his old black dad out of here.
You're like, wait, I'm not that old.
So, best of luck to Canelo, man. You know what? Maybe Canelo can fight Nick Diaz.
Yeah, until Nick Diaz throws one fucking leg kick.
Dude, I'd pay money to see the look on a boxer's face the first time they take a leg kick, because I know what they're thinking. They're like, man, you know what?
I got that bad, bro. I do my road work. I got good legs, bro. Like, look at this. I got foot movement and shit. And then just whap. Who has the nastiest leg kick in the UFC right now? It's not John anymore.
No, it's I still think it's what's this poor guy's name? Got mauled by Khabib. Well, Aldo for sure.
But Aldo hasn't thrown one of his last 4 fights. Got mauled by Khabib. Oh, Edson Barboza.
Yes, nasty leg kicks. Also, Gaethje, nasty leg kicks.
Gaethje does have incredible leg kicks, but like you put fucking Canelo fights at 74, right? They put him against an 85 or maybe. Man, that'd be a bad look.
The fake champion Volkanovski, great leg kicks.
I love Volkanovski, man. That would be a good fight. Give Canelo Volkanovski. He's a tiny little man.
there are 2 looks that you're going to get from a boxer the first time they fight an MMA fighter. That look when he gets kicked, and then when they climb up on their back to choke them. That desperate look.
Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Put Canelo in there with Khabib.
Oh, that's now you're talking about getting the man killed. He's gonna make the same face a mouse makes when.
No, he's gonna make the same face Edson Barboza made.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Or Kevin Lee, or Michael, or who else? Fucking not Abel Trujillo. They give him a good fight.
Yeah, Abel shows up to fight anyone. If you beat him, you've really ascended to like elite fighter, and I can't think of a nice enough guy that looks like a complete psychopath murderer. Like when
Tony Ferguson.
Is he a nice guy?
I hear he is.
I feel like the conversation would go weird if I don't laugh at his jokes, and he,
like fucking Joe Pesci and what is that? Goodfellas.
Yeah, like he's that guy. Like, but I feel like he might smack you with your own dinner. Like smack you. With
he picks up your steak with his hand. Like what? What noise does a cooked steak make when it hits someone?
Weirdest situation I've been in since I moved back to New York. This was a while ago. I'm up with Santana and upstate at a friend's wedding. We're hanging out after the rehearsal dinner back at her friend's house, and one of their buddies hit me with a piece of pizza. And I thought for a second, I was like, so this is how it goes down. This is why I'm gonna freaking strangle this kid with his own collar.
Was your first thought is New York State a stand your ground state?
My first thought was, how bad is it gonna look? Because
I killed this kid. Wait, what do you mean he smacked you with a piece of pizza? Like,
dude, I was in mid-sentence. Actually, that wasn't even the weirdest thing that happened to me. That was the second weird thing. I had another kid mouth off to me, and I'm like, what is happening upstate, man? I'm like, what is that? Every time I went up there, it was always a situation, but like we're all talking. He's drunk and just picks up a slice of pizza and throws it at my face. And I'm just like, is this like a
was it one of the did your wife immediately react by getting in between you two and then going, no, okay, that was an accident?
I think she might have squeezed my hand or something like that, because I looked over at her and she's just like, okay, hold on for a second. Actually, the worst thing that's ever happened when I've been around Santana, we were before we moved over to the town where the school is at, we were driving from our old apartment in New Rochelle to come meet her mom and her aunt, and these people cut us off on the freeway, but they cut us off to the point where I thought we were gonna die, and then I flipped and I started following the guy off his exit because that's the next thought in my head. And she's like digging her nails. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm getting off the exit with him." And as soon as we get to a light, I'm gonna throw this in park.
I'm getting out.
I'm gonna pull this dude out of his car. But I never admitted any of these hypothetical situations on our podcast on air. None of this stuff is true because there's no, there's
no statutes of limitations for your own thoughts.
Exactly. Well, not yet. Not yet.
That's a good point. Wow, that got real dark real quick. I don't have my tinfoil hat with me.
Dude, we got to do another tinfoil episode.
I don't have any good conspiracies right now.
I got one for you, but I got to talk about it off air because it's definitely not something we can cover on the show. But it has to do with a movie that's coming out on Netflix or is on Netflix called Cutie Pies, and it is weird.
Yeah, I've heard of it, and I refuse to look any deeper into it because it's disgusting.
I don't understand what's happening. I don't know where we're at, man. Like, someone made this movie and they were just like, "Hey, this is gonna help combat the situation." I'm like, "Yeah, but you just kind of made what the perverts want, didn't you? You just served it up to them on a platter." At any rate, from perverts, we transition into COD.
Yeah, my kind of people. So, the multiplayer reveal happened. Steve, you were in my chat for it. I was being very analytical about anything and everything that was happening during the time.
Hey, by the way, very good stream.
Thank you.
BS.
I appreciate it. I thought I did good coverage on it. Yeah. I thought I did my best I could. Well, not really, but I thought I did pretty good. The more I see the multiplayer reveal, the more excited I am for it. There was a graphic released, and this is not going to mean anything to you, but I have it here if my phone would fucking unlock. Thank you very much, Google Pixel. You're an amazing piece of technology. Here we go. So the time to kill is a very important thing in a Call of Duty, right? The time that it takes for me to aim down sight, fire my first bullet to when you're dead, right, is a very important thing. For example, Black Ops 4 with an assault rifle, which is my class of gun that I tend to like to use, was 355 milliseconds, right? So enough time to react, right? Where Modern Warfare, the current game that's out, was 190 milliseconds, which is like Tarkov level quick, right? Which I don't think Call of Duty should have. Cold War in the alpha, and this is done by Exclusive Ace, does incredible coverage. Yeah, so we're talking about the time to kill. Sorry about that. We had a minor. Steve had to poop. So
what?
That's okay.
I don't poop.
Oh, okay. You're a female now. Got it. We're talking about the time to kill. So the time to kill in Black Ops 4, 355 milliseconds for an assault rifle. Modern Warfare was 190 milliseconds, which is essentially not enough time to react, right? Let's be fair. Cold War during the alpha, this is done by Exclusive Ace. Exclusive Ace does incredibly good breakdown and informative content around guns and perks and such in Call of Duty. He says that so he was invited to the alpha as well. So that the time to kill for Cold War, the assault rifles, was 321 milliseconds. So very similar to Black Ops 4, which is a good thing. A little bit more time to react, a little more time to readjust once you get shot. You're not just dead instantly. So I think that's an incredibly good thing. I think that it provides a higher skill gap. I think it's more competitive, and I think it's better overall for the life of the game than killing that's so fast that you don't have time to react.
Yeah, you just basically feel like you're getting lasered, and that's the end of the game right there. Yeah, I got you.
So the more I look at Black Ops Cold War, man, the more excited I get for it.
I want this to be good for you, man. I have no
fucking too.
I have no vested interest. It's like when your grandfather has very little to live for, but you just know that he makes it to the store for his Marlboros, and all they have that day is Winston's. I don't want that for him, man. I want him to get his Marlboros. I want you to get your Marlboro, man. I want you to be able to play the game.
Me too, man. Me too.
But here's the thing, man. So there was something that you were trying to educate me on, which is the skill-based gameplay. Can you re-explain to me what that is and how that's going to impact this game? Like, is that
We don't
something
know.
that
We don't know because
Okay.
the developers for Call of Duty are so notoriously secretive about skill-based matchmaking, right? Is what it is, right? So essentially, there's a number of metrics. How fast you move around a map, I believe, is one of them.
Mhm.
What your kill to death ratio, what your win loss ratio is, what your score per minute is a big one. That they take that into account and then match you with people who are evenly matched against you. Now,
Mhm.
while that seems to be okay, it just turns into, if you're a decent player, you're playing against very good players all the time, and it's exhausting to have to 100% focus hour after hour in a game like Call of Duty. It's a lot of like 80% of the time I want like to just like be able to play with my friends, have a good time, be able to win, like all of the above. And then sometimes I like a good competitive game, right?
Right.
And that's fun. But right now, when I play Modern Warfare, or when I played Modern Warfare, you play 3 games against regular people and I'm slaughtering them. And then I play against the best of the best, and it's just like, it's not fun anymore, right? It's frustrating. It makes the game, you can't grind the game like you used to be able to. So we don't know if there's skill-based matchmaking in this game or not. We technically don't know that it's in this game, right? They don't actually
haven't
vocalize
confirmed,
that, right? And they still will, and they probably never will. I'm not exactly sure on what's going to happen with that. I hope it's not a thing.
You know what though? Here's the thing about it though, right? The more that I watch, so I watched your stream and then I went and watched a few other ones. I've definitely said you bias aside, you were in my top 3. I consume a lot of stuff when I'm trying to find out more and more about things. You were in my top 3 because at least you were clear in the point. That's big to me, right? As someone
Sure.
standing outside of a scene, I need the point articulated so I can truly understand what it is you're trying to enjoy and what you don't enjoy about the game. Here's the one thing that I'm really looking forward to, right? I'm looking forward to the campaign mode because I love the Cold War era. I
Sure.
love this type of stuff, and it looks
You've
like
never
they
played
put
any of the Black Ops ones, right?
No, dude, you gave me the ones. Did you give me one of the Black Ops for PS3?
Maybe. I don't know. I think I might have bought you Black Ops 1 for the Steam too, if I remember correctly. Maybe not,
No, you
because
didn't.
I wanted to play zombies. We wanted to play zombies at one point or another.
Is
yeah,
it all one linear story? Like, is
Yes.
it all connected? Okay,
Yeah,
perfect,
yeah.
perfect.
1 through
Perfect.
4 is connected, and then Cold War is a direct sequel to 1. It is what happens directly after 1 ends.
Man, it looks beautiful. That one, there's this one scene when they're all sitting around, and there's a not Robert Patterson. I forget the dude's name, but the character design alone, like the 3D animation, I was just like, man,
Very good.
this is extremely good. I'm not going to be good in the the PvP. Let's be honest. I'm just never going to.
I can take you under my wing. I could teach you.
No, we tried that. It was called Gaming with a Dad. You're an abusive teacher. That's the problem.
Not on Call of Duty though.
Most abusive. Like the most.
What do you mean? We have videos. We have videos off of Modern Warfare.
It's much like police brutality. It's not what was on tape that we should be quantifying. It's the stuff that you didn't do off of tape. You're like the pep talks you were giving me were they were like blue chips pep talks. Like, Steve, when I hit this fucking record button, there's no screwing around, buddy. I'm like, whoa, I thought we were just having a good time. Actually, you know what's funny? You were more stern when we were playing Rainbow Six than you were Call of Duty.
It's because I don't enjoy the game. And that's saying something compared to Modern Warfare.
No, actually, I had fun when we played it. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to watching how excited people get about it, and I really do hope that the fan base, the hardcores, and I think you need to take care of your hardcores in these type of situations. Like, it's the same thing I go through with comics, right? At some point, it's not that I want you to cater to me, but just know I've been spending money on this series for quite some time. You pull a weirdo move on me where this is not about the story and it's about some other agenda, I'm going to be upset. And when you start pissing off your hardcores, you're pissing off your fan base that continuously consumes your product. And you can only do so much before you push them away. You're not the only guy that I heard shit on Modern Warfare. Like, there are tons of other people who hate that game.
Yeah.
And there were people who tried to defend it for so long. And then finally they just came around to like, hey, you know what? I cannot pretend as if these things aren't a problem. I dislike this. heard one streamer say this might be it for me.
Sure.
Now I've heard people say that type of stuff before, but that same streamer has since said, he's looking forward to this game and he hopes it gives a shot in the arm and brings people back. Do you think this will save or hurt the franchise?
Nothing will hurt the franchise. There will always be hardcores. There will always be the casuals. There will always be the people who are fans of games, right? There were people who looked at the multiplayer reveal and were like, nah, that game looks like shit, right? And I'm like, wait, you support Modern Warfare. It's going to play very similar to the way Modern Warfare played with a slower time to kill, right? And
what about it look like shit?
That's literally, no, they're the people who don't defend what they say. They just say things, right? Okay. I don't, when I look at it and I analyze it and I make an articulate point about it, there's also 100 other people who are like, no, I don't like it. But why not? I just don't, bro. Okay.
Even worse are the people who do like it and they can't tell you why they like something. I'm like, well, can you give me a for instance? That's where you usually cut someone. Like, can you give me one for instance or why you like this thing? They're like, no, man, you just don't get it. And I'm like,
nah, bro, it's just not for you, man. Like, you got to know, dude. You got to know, man. You got to be like there, I don't know. I think it looks, from the multiplayer reveal, it looks good. We get an open beta next month. I'm not setting up the PS4 for the first weekend of the open beta. I can't be bothered to. I just don't want to. I'm not investing that much time in my life to do it.
How much time does it take you to set up the PS4?
Enough. And then I had to figure out audio, because I don't have, I would have to figure out directly how to hit the PS4 into both the Elgato and the mixer to get to my headset. I don't feel like doing that.
Okay, that does sound daunting.
Right, I don't feel like doing that. I also don't feel like remembering my password for the PlayStation. I don't feel like buying another year of PlayStation Plus. Right, there's a number of things that I would have to do, or month of PlayStation Plus. Right, there was a number of things I would have to do, and I just don't feel like doing. Plus, it's not my preferred platform to play, and I can't make a good opinion off of something that it's not where I'm going to play it ultimately.
Yeah.
Right, so there's no reason for me to do it. So I'll wait until the second weekend.
I think historically, if I remember correctly, the first game you played Modern Warfare on PlayStation when they had the open beta, you enjoyed. But then that's when I started to see the dissenting opinion of the game. You're like, I have my concerns, but I'm just going to reserve. Yeah, I think that's what you said. You're like, I'm going to reserve it for when it comes out on PC so I can honestly say. And then it was all downhill.
Yeah.
It was all downhill from there.
I enjoyed it for the first few minutes that I played it, or for the first few matches that I played it. And yeah, I thought it was okay on the PlayStation, and I probably would enjoy it if I played it on the PlayStation. I take that back. There's a marginal chance that I would enjoy it if I played it on the PlayStation. But yeah, we'll see eventually. Middle of October, we'll get a beta for it. If I have to pre-order it to get into the earlier beta, I probably will. And we'll see, right? And we'll see what opinion I come out with.
I think it's gonna be good. I feel good. I got a good feeling about this.
Nothing.
I know nothing about this topic, but I will relate it to something else, right?
Sure.
We were talking about DC a while ago and where the company's at and stuff like that. This is comic books talk, but it's gonna tie in, right?
Okay.
They just released a new series called The Three Jokers. First episode was amazing. First issue was amazing. I have faith. Just like you have faith that this Call of Duty is going to be good. I think it's going to be good. What the? How do you do that? How do you move your head around like that? Is it the beard that makes it look like you have no neck? It is the beard. That's pretty cool, man. That's a talent. You can go on Dancing with the Stars with that one.
Can I? I can be like Paige Van Zandt, and then I can sign up for bare knuckle boxing and not have a chance to ever win a fight in that organization and probably come out 3 points less attractive than you were before.
I was watching Beck Rollins fight, and I say watching, but I didn't finish it because it was right in between our street beef thing. Like I watched, and then you know how like all the weird stuff starts coming up.
Right, Beck Rollins fights start coming up.
I was watching her bare knuckle, and surprisingly enough, even Antonio Carver, former middleweight and like heavyweight champion boxing, was like, she looks really good. I didn't stick around because I was like, well, this is bare knuckle boxing. What am I doing? Next thing I know, I'm going to be watching Trump rallies if I keep going down this path right here.
That's a good point. This is my issue with Paige Van Zandt signing to bare knuckle. She wasn't a striker in the UFC.
No. Absolutely not.
Right, and now you take away the majority of her game, and now she's boxing, right? Because essentially that's what it is. Bare knuckle fighting is just boxing, right?
Yeah.
where the fuck is she gonna get striking skill from?
She's not, dude. Now, I would be different if they said, "Hey, it's bare knuckle, and you're allowed to do like Muay
Like
Thai
kicks.
takedowns."
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I'd
otherwise,
be willing to say she never fights in bare knuckle.
like she never actually makes the
She
show.
never actually makes a fight. I think she signed for a promotional deal and not a fight deal.
I think I could see that. If she does that, then this is just going to be the thing that tides her over there until she gets into Bellator. Because I'm not even sure they have a division for her in Bellator. I don't know what their women's divisions are like over there. I know they got the 145. Obviously, Chris Cyborg is getting ready to defend that again. Not that anyone cares. And then I'm not sure. Like, does anyone care who's she fighting? I can't even tell you the woman's name she's fighting. I know there's a woman's fight for Bellator coming up, other than Chris Cyborg. Like, they don't do a good job of promoting, or at least I'm not a good enough MMA fan like I used to be. I should know these things.
What did Paige Van Zandt fight at 25?
Yes,
They have a 25 division.
Who's the champ?
I can't pronounce her name.
Come on, just try.
Ilami Leigh McFarlane.
That was really good. Is that her name?
ILIMA-LEI McFarlane.
Oh yeah, I would have butchered that. Like
Alima Leigh McFarlane.
I say I can't. I know nothing. I'm gonna get back into Bellator though. I'm gonna get back.
You said that like twice now, I believe.
Every time I turn on their promotion, I go sick to my stomach, and I'm like, I can't do this.
They're going to CBS, man. That's good for them.
That is good for them.
This fight coming up in October is their last fight in Paramount. That's it.
I thought it was a bad deal after Homeboy left, the original owner of Bellator. They should have stuck to tournament style. And I've said this before, and I'll die.
They went back to it though.
They went back to tournament style.
Yeah, the heavyweight. They had a heavyweight Grand Prix where Ryan Bader ended up their heavyweight champion.
Oh, Ryan
right?
Bader.
That's where Chael made his last hurrah. That's where Fedor was. Like,
oh yeah, that's right. And King Mo had gone through one of their tournaments as well.
Yeah.
One of the greatest ever do it, King Mo. I would never say that to his face because he would know I was being sarcastic and beat the brakes off of me. But I think that's the only thing they really offer. I really hope that at some point, actually, now that I think about it, they're going to CBS. Isn't that where World Series of Fighting made their last stand as well? Or was that ABC?
You're talking before my time, my friend.
Oh my goodness. World Series of Fighting is where Gaethje came from.
Okay.
And Rampage was also there, and Pitbull was there for a while. They fought each other at heavyweight, making his comeback pretty soon. Rumble Johnson making his comeback soon to the UFC. That's going to be interesting to see where he's at. He's been smoking a lot of weed. Put on some weight.
About 500 pounds. He got big.
Have you ever seen the movie Warrior?
No.
It's about two brothers who are competing in an MMA, a tournament style MMA competition, and Anthony Rumble Johnson's in there. But I believe he's supposed to be we're supposed to believe that he's a 155er. It's just outrageous how big he is in that movie. It's obscene. He's a monster. But he is, dude. He threw a woman's yoga mat for working out in front of him. He didn't get in trouble for like looking at her or maybe being a creepy guy. He takes his workout so serious that he picked up her yoga mat and flung it across the gym. You're not impressed by that?
No.
All right, moving right along, folks. Moving right along. What California new law allows inmate firefighters to expunge record and become paid firefighters?
Yeah, so you know that California right now is going through massive wildfires set off by let's just say morons who had a gender reveal party with explosions, right? So California, and this is a common thing in California. I don't know if there were any wildfires while you were out there. Probably. They use inmate firefighters to supplement the firefighters that are out there. They're fighting the fires. Previously, they would be trained and like go through all of the firefighter stuff. But after they get out, if you're a felon or whatever, you can't be a firefighter. Right?
No, you can't.
So, but now if you're an inmate firefighter and then you serve your time, they will then expunge your record and allow you to become a firefighter within the paid firefighting system within California.
Okay, so I think this is a great idea. Obviously, there are going to be some strict stipulations in regards to what type of crimes can be expunged. They're not. There's.
I didn't look at the full extent of the law. This is more of like a headline thing. But even cursory, even base, like obviously not for murder or whatever, right? But like your general felonies. And if they actually do go through with this and expunge the records, and these guys are now able to become firefighters because they got the training, they got the experience, right? That's incredible. That is legitimately, you're working towards what prison is supposed to be, right? A rehabilitation and reintroduction into society once you're deemed a worthy member of society again, right? and now this legitimately hinges you towards that, and then puts you into a position of a person who most people look up to.
Yeah, it's crazy because the fire camps. So I've known a couple of guys who've gone through fire camp in prison, and they have all said the same thing about their experience. They were in a program called SAPC, which dealt with behavior modification. Fire camp obviously was a part of that, giving you a sense of direction, something to belong to. But they all came
team and community within that. Absolutely.
Exactly. You'd be surprised, not you in particular, but most people would be surprised how that type of job can give you a great deal of satisfaction and meaning.
Self-worth and something to look forward to. And I think that's why Stipe still does it, but sure.
No, absolutely. This is something that warms my heart. I used to work with that population. So just to know that there's an opportunity for people to transition into something where they can be of use again and feel useful. The one thing though, that worries me, any good idea can become a bad idea. I can also see if this program goes really well. You mark my words, because they have ROTC programs in the military, in prisons as well. For low-level offenders, you can go into a boot camp like situation. They'll probably roll something like that out too, which is not by nature a bad thing. I just don't want us to go from a good thing to a bad thing. But I think this is a great idea, especially when you're talking about a population that comes out with no skill set or opportunities in California.
Opportunities is the big thing for me.
Yeah, we're talking about a state that more than 50% cut their budget on prison rehabilitation, but built more prisons. And everyone always talks about George Soros in regards to the liberals. There's this one family that's deeply rooted in the prison building scheme of California, and I'm not going to say their name because they are petty and they will sue if they hear this type of stuff. But they are the ones who hiked up the prices on commissary. So this whole thing about noodles being $1 a pack when they cost like 20 cents on the street.
Sure,
they're the type of people behind that. They've raised the prices on vending machines. It's horrible. It's one of those situations where the money's not even being used to supplement budgeting for the prison.
Sure.
The guards aren't making any more money, and they're undertrained and overworked type of situation. So I think this is a good thing, man. If you ever want to see something really interesting in regards to prison rehabilitation, Israel does it extremely well. Apparently, obviously when you watch a documentary, they usually tend to show you the good more than the bad, but they have a really good system worked out. This is a crazy time to be doing this, to think about becoming a firefighter. And it is crazy that one of those huge fires started over a gender reveal. So many acres and homes lost.
Those people deserve to be arrested and charged to the full extent.
It's so I was in California the last time there were fires, one of the last two times, and I was driving on the 101 heading to work one day, and I'm going past, I believe it's Simi Valley or something like that. No, I'm probably getting it all wrong. Someone from California would correct me, but the whole thing was lit up. You could see from the 101 freeway that like the fire was just raging. And then I remember heading back to Santa Clarita that night. This is probably the scariest I've ever been driving out there. And I'm getting off at my exit, or what I'm thinking about too, and the sheriffs are all there. They're like, "Nah, can't go this way. Mountains are on fire. Detour." And as I'm detouring, like I remember calling Santana, and I looked when I got up, and the entire thing is just engulfed. There was a buddy of mine who actually had to hike over those mountains to get back to his home to get his dogs out before the whole thing went up.
Yeah, man, that's one of the things is like you there's no fucking way you're gonna stop me from going to get my animals other than literally shooting me.
Yeah,
it's like I'd fucking leave a person here before I'd leave my animals here, man.
I might drive a few people there, like, yeah, I'm gonna go get the sandwiches. I'll be back.
Push them out the car where they're going. Get my dogs, bitch.
But this is a good program, man. Now the next thing is, are they going to be compensated correctly to do this dangerous work?
Not while they're an inmate. That's already the thing. They're not while they're an inmate, but I think, if they could get a position immediately as soon as they're released inside of a fire department for these types of fires, and are compensated. It's not fair, but it's a good step.
Yeah, I mean, so I believe they do get a bit of stipend when they're in fire camp. It's not much.
Yeah, but it's still below minimum wage.
Oh yeah, it's way below minimum wage, dude. It's way below. They do get nice sweatpants. So I remember commenting on my buddy. I was like, "Man, those are some really nice New Balances you got releasing. Some nice sweats." He was like, "They're very comfortable." like 6 to 10 years comfortable. He's like, "Nah."
It's like, no, if I had to be any more than 30 seconds in these fucking things, I'd freak out. Oh wait.
You know the crazy thing about thinking about this, especially California, it shows you how short people's memories are. When Schwarzenegger was the governor, this is the man. He didn't do anything any other politician do. He held the budget hostage for a couple of quarters. I mean, when I say he held it hostage, like people were like, I think we're going to go out of business. And sure enough, a lot of independent treatment centers, like county funded ones, went out of business waiting for that to be signed. But now he was hated at that time. Everyone hated him. But memory, so short, man. He makes one good joke about Trump, and he's in everyone's praises now. Like that whole skit he does about Trump, just like his popularity. Boom! I start telling you, you gotta get closer to Trump. Your life was horrible before. You say a bad thing about Trump, you're back in, baby. Look at George Bush Jr. There was a time this man couldn't get a speaking engagement anywhere. Now he's hanging out with Ellen. He hangs out with Michelle Obama, gives her candy and stuff. We should probably start saying bad stuff about Trump to get more traffic on this channel, or that might backfire.
More bad, dude. I don't think I can say anything more bad about him. My God.
How did your dad feel about him?
I don't want to. I don't talk politics with my parents.
Copy. I made that mistake today. I'm not talking politics today.
I made a joke about it at dinner. My dad laughed, and then that's as far as we got.
Was it one of those trail loft laughs? Like,
no, I got an actual chuckle out of him. I can count the times I've made my dad laugh on one hand, which is ridiculous because actually I can make most people laugh, right? And,
yeah, you're a pretty guy, man.
And I can count the time I made my dad laugh on one hand, and this was one of them. So
that's good. That's good.
It seems like we're still on one hand, though.
Stoic. Hey, you're a Timmy fan, right? You're a Tim the Tap man.
Not really.
Don't you say no, Zach. I've heard you say multiple times you like him, man.
I think he's funny, but I don't watch his content. Like, I wouldn't consider myself a fan.
Okay, not a fan, but you enjoy his personality?
Sure.
Didn't you go to a meetup of his?
No. What are you talking about? No.
Wait. I thought you went to like a concert meetup or something that he had. Like, was that not you?
No, it was not Tim the Tap Man.
Oh, who was it?
Sandy Ravage.
Oh, okay. There we go. Not Tim the Tap Man.
They're not even close. Okay. What you're talking about is Ninja's back on Twitch.
Yes, Ninja is back on Twitch.
I didn't think he was going there. I thought he was going to YouTube. We talked about this on the podcast a bunch. I thought he was going to YouTube.
I know. I thought you were wrong the whole time, but that's okay. Because
you agreed with me.
I agreed with you because I had nothing left to say on the subject, but don't you drink that water. Don't you drink those 48 ounces in front of me on this camera. But so let's look at this maturely. Have you been keeping up with this at all? No, right, buddy? You got water in your beard, man.
I know. It's part of the gag.
You're like a grandpa eating cornflakes at the table that you don't look at. You're like, oh God, the milk. So the crazy thing is he came in. I don't know how many people tuned into his stream at the beginning. I guess it held at around 65,000.
Yeah, but I saw like 85 at one point, but like not Shroud or Doc.
Yeah, that's crazy. And so people, Timmy was talking about the whole thing. They're really close friends. Everyone needs a friend like Timmy.
Yeah.
And basically, he gave a good breakdown to his followers on his channel because people were saying that Ninja sold out his community, which is entirely untrue. In fact, I would have to go ahead.
I don't think so.
Okay, so the argument is that he sold out his community by going over to Mixer, by taking the money bag, and then switching over. I honestly think, given what his relationship was with Twitch, according to him at that time, it was a good move. It was also good for the market. Competition is always really good for any market. It improves.
Mixer still wasn't competition, but okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Not competition, but all options.
It wasn't even a blip on their fucking radar, but okay.
I mean, but it does. It's
it blipped for 1 second. It was like, they were like, "What's that?" And they're like, "Don't worry." And then it was like,
if they weren't worried about it, they wouldn't have done exclusives themselves. Now that could have been a joint effort because it was YouTube and Mixer, but you have to at least concede to the fact that they were like, "Hey, we should take a look at this because they got two
It
of
was
our."
good for the market because it started the exclusivity contracts. I agree there,
Yeah.
and I see some of my favorite content creators getting paid because of it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it wasn't that big of a deal.
I can't even imagine being in the office that day when the news came down. Like, I know they didn't tell the streamers. I wonder if they told the office workers.
They're like, Ninja's leaving, and then everything's on fire, and then the CEO walks in 15 minutes late, obviously with a Starbucks. And they're like, "What the fuck is happening? Ninja left," and he's like, "Ninja who? Put porn on his channel. Who cares?"
But so Timmy was, everyone's saying that he sold out, and Tim takes a little time, and he didn't really go on the rant so much as he said, "Hey, you got to look at this. This is what he's been able to do in his career as a streamer. This is what he did before Fortnite. This is what he did because of Fortnite, and this is how he improved the very nature of content creation on Twitch. He raised the bar for viewership. He made me believe in things that weren't possible. Obviously, he's done a great job marketing himself and his licensing and all the ventures, and that the Mixer deal was the next step, right? He proved that you can actually get that type of deal and step away for a second and then come back successfully. I understand the points that Timmy's making, and I actually agree with him 100%. I'm happy that Ninja, I don't understand. I mean, I understand it to a level. I know what type of personality he is. I do feel bad for him in the sense that he is just one of those people it's easy to hate. Like, most people don't have
a very easy to hate, for sure.
Most people don't even have a legitimate reason to dislike him. I could see if you've been like a hardcore who's following you, just like, man, he's flip-flop on too many games. I think he's misrepresented the way, like, if you called him out on how great he said Gears 5 was, yes, then you have an argument, because he did say that on the record. He was like, game is fun. He was paid to play it, obviously, but I could see if you're calling on that stuff. Just calling the dude out for being who he is, it's a weak argument. But I want to talk about Tim, man. I don't think people really know the type of courage it takes to put yourself out there against your own fan base, right? To stand in between them and someone and their venom, and to say, hey, look, no, this is right. This is right and this is wrong. And shitting on a guy just because he tried to do better for himself. I got a lot of respect for Tim, man. Like, that takes a lot of loyalty. I don't know if it was really based in altruism, but I want to believe that, given his worldview, that he did this because he needed to stand up for someone. I know he said some things in defense of Doc. It seemed like he wanted to be a little bit more go in depth, but I would understand why he wouldn't want to touch that situation too hard. You don't know what's going on there, so you're not going to die on die on that hill for him.
Sure.
But it was good to see someone stick up for Ninja for once, man. And yeah, Tim's a good guy, man. I like, if for no reason than that, man, like I might donate just on that alone, man. I always respect stand-up guys.
Send me your money, please.
I already gave you my donation, dude.
No, you subbed to me. That's not a donation.
Oh, you want me to send you money too? You don't get any money.
Actually, just send me $5.
What?
Through the mail, and then that's a donation.
No. Wait, I gotta pay you on top. Wait, do you get any money from the Twitch sub?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well, anyway, back to Timmy, a man who really needs my money and not an independently wealthy man in a flannel.
First of all, I'm not independently wealthy. Hemorrhaging money. Please help. Send everything you have. B. Tim is worth some money, man.
I know.
Tim's worth some money. He's moved to Florida.
Dude, he's got some great tattoos, man.
Like, he legitimately has some really good tattoos. He deserves the Tap Man name for sure.
And just, you gotta respect that. You don't see people put themselves out like that. You know what I meant to ask you about was the Summit thing, when he got on his stream a little bit for being toxic and said he's going to take a little bit more time, and quote unquote, he said he might just let the contract run and take an extended time off from Twitch.
Man, Summit's a grinder, right? And by what I mean by that is Summit's potentially the most successful person on Twitch. Longest term streamer at the level that he's at, in my opinion. Him, right. Lyric, Tim, not even Tim, man. Tim's way newer than Summit. There's very few. Him and Lyric is really what comes to mind. For being as successful as he is, he still streams a lot, right? He still streams 10 hours a day. You know, he still streams like 8 to 10 hours a day every day. takes a break here and there. You know, in the past he's taken mental health breaks. He's done it a number of times. You know, I think he might be in the same spot that I am right now, obviously on a different level, that he just can't find a game that he really wants to commit a lot of time to, right? And wants to be that game that he goes to and plays and loves and can go and play for 8 hours a day and not have an issue.
Yeah.
You know, he said it on his stream yesterday when he was freaking out about the DayZ experience. He had basically had a meltdown on stream yesterday. And he's talking about it in the fact that, like, at this point, he's played too many games, and now he just feels like he's a game critic. And he even said it. He's like, I don't care if you pay me to play your game or not. I'm going to tell you what's wrong with it. He's like, I do not care, and I will always tell you what's wrong with it. And he can't always enjoy games because of it, and I totally feel that.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, that level of honesty is great, but at this point, I think you hit a cap or a ceiling. It's like, what is left to accomplish? Maybe he just needs to take a step away and just enjoy life without all this stuff. Especially
he did that for a while. I think he took at least a month off at one point.
It sounds like he's talking about doing something extended. I think it's just the toxicity that's starting to get to him, because he was playing Fall Guys. He had a situation with that. Played Marvel Avengers on his stream. Had a situation where people were like, the Marvel Avengers thing happened first.
Mm-hmm.
Then he was playing Fall Guys, and people were going ham in the comments. And he was just like, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna let this contract run and just take an extended period off." And I mean, I can't say that I get it. I do understand what it means to step away from something very lucrative, because it's like, you know what, this is not worth it anymore.
I don't think he needs the money at the moment. I can tell you that. I'm watching Landmark go through the same thing. He freaked out at his chat the other day. He's like, listen, I can't fucking take you people telling me what to do anymore. He didn't say it, but he was essentially like, I'm the best player in the game. I don't need your fucking advice on how to play this game. Right? He didn't say it because he's way too humble, but he was like, he's like, I stream this game 12 hours a day, every day. He goes, he's only been streaming since December, by the way. I don't know if you know that. He's only been streaming for less than a year. Landmark has been streaming for less than a year. He's as successful as he is because he is so good. He streams 12 hours a day. Since December, he has not taken a day off. He plays Tarkov more than anyone in the world. At the moment, since December, he has streamed more than anyone in the world. Like, he's like, and I can't fucking take you guys anymore. He's like, I can't take the toxicity in chat. He's like, I can't take you guys telling me how to play the game. He's like, listen, he goes, he didn't say it, but this is what I imagine he wants to say in his head. He's like, I'm better than all of you. And generally, all of you combined probably still couldn't kill me in this game. And he's like, the only people who kill me are fucking lucky headshots and hackers. Fuck all you guys. And that's essentially the vibe I got from it. And it was really interesting to watch.
It's amazing, man, how something like, because how many people in your chat are actually supporting you, like, other than like showing up, like, and then how many people are just trolling, even the people who make the donations as sub. Like, I've subbed to someone's YouTube channel before just to call them out on something. I was like, I guess I'll pay you the $250 just to call you out on that lie you just told to everyone. But
if you ever watch a Landmark stream, the donations and the subs, which are constantly rolling in, right?
Yeah.
He has 18,000 subs right now or something like that. They're supportive, but it's everyone else in the chat.
Okay.
Yeah. I think a lot of his stuff would his issues would be solved by sub only chat, but he has the small streamer mentality as a big streamer, and that's really interesting to see. Like, you never see someone donate or sub or give bits or whatever without him thanking them, saying their name and thanking them, every single person. And like, it's a lot, right? Like, it's a lot. Like 18,000 people a month. That's a lot, right? And constantly people are donating enough bits to do text to speech, and people are donating money constantly. Like, and he thanks every single one of the people. He seems genuinely insincere about it, right? So he still has the small streamer mentality as a big streamer, and I think that at some point that's going to get to him.
You know, it's crazy, man. As we're talking about this, just think about the interaction between fan and content creator, or, you know, I can't think of another medium where it's existed like this. Like, you're an artist, maybe you go to, when you premiere your work at the gallery, you're interacting with people who are judging your work right then and there, but that's it, right?
Yeah,
you know, you have
indie band,
indie band,
and
but
comedian maybe.
But that's more of a monologue unless you get a heckler, right? Even the indie band.
No, from what I understand, like the feel of the crowd is what fuels a comic. And if that goes poor, apparently that's one of the fucking worst situations you could ever be in. That's why I don't attempt to go do stand up.
No, I get that. 100%. I'm saying that, like, could you imagine being a comedian doing a skit where people could type in instantly what they thought of that skit?
But and you get that as a stand up comic. Because you get the laughs or the silences or the boos, right? You are live feedback 100% of the time while you're doing it.
That's true. That's why I never like going to places like the Comedy Store or the Laugh Factory. Like, I actually think going to comedy shows is as weird as going to a strip club. It's like for me, it's like the same thing. They both want something from me. I get nervous. I laugh at jokes that aren't funny because they're like, yeah, what if the guy starts going just dissing people in the audience? I know I'm that guy that's gonna get picked on. Like, they shine a light, like you with the gap between your teeth. Put the light on him, and he's just gonna start laying into me. Fear of my life, man. Can't deal with it.
I love comedy shows. I'm the exact opposite. I think they're fun.
No. I had friends in California that would constantly try to take me to the smaller comedy shows. I'm just like, no, I'm gonna go there, man.
Like the Improv.
Yeah, I'm like, no. You said you're performing? No.
you're like, you're not even funny in a locker room kind of way.
It's the same thing like when people tell me they're gonna play their mixtape for me. I'm like, whoa.
I'm out.
Like, we've been having a good time here. You're gonna make it weird. It's just weird to think about content creators on YouTube and Twitch, Facebook even, and like that level
feedback,
that level of access. I remember I told you this when you were still working at the school. I just jumped into some guy's stream who was playing God of War, and his wife is like his navigator, just making sure he gets all the loot and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And people were being so toxic towards his wife. At one point, I was just like, man, this is really the keyboard warrior syndrome.
Sure.
This guy's a nerd, but I guarantee you wouldn't say half of the stuff you're saying to his face. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. The issue with online things is you get people like that who take it very seriously and they take it as a real world concept, and then the people who understand that it's online, and none of these people are anonymous, so you can't actually trust anything that they're actually saying.
Yeah, you can't feed into it at all. So apparently, though, 68,000 for Ninja.
I just looked. He was sitting at 45 right now.
He's sitting at 45,000 right now.
Mm-hmm. While Shroud is sitting at 17.5.
Oh, okay, not bad. Last time I checked in on Doc, I sat in there for like maybe an hour or so, and I think he capped at like 78,000 on YouTube. It's just
Beanans is killing it right now on Twitch. So
really,
20,000 viewers for Beanans right now.
Oh, nice. I hate referring to her as Shroud's girlfriend. I was just
Hannah.
Yeah, she's really sick. It's Rainbow Six, man. Like, it's
her and Ann too. Ann is really good too. I don't know if you've ever watched Ann.
No, I never watched Ann before. I've stopped watching all the 100 Thieves content. Though I forgot to tell you this the other day.
What happened?
I just got hit with this. I jumped into Valkyrie stream, and like it was about 20 to 30 minutes before there was any actual gameplay, and it was just talk. And I'm not going to disparage it. I was just like, unsubscribe. She didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't anything about her personality, but I was like, you know what? This doesn't make sense. Like, why am I watching this? I came here to watch you be good at the game, and this is a bubbly conversation that I just don't. Yeah, no need for me to be toxic. I'm out. I'm not a paid sub. I'm just, don't show me any.
Just show him ever again.
I'm done. I jumped in on Courageous the other day. He's right there, man, and I like that dude. I like his cadence. I like his voice.
I have a lot of respect for him.
I mean, like he's right there. Yeah, he's holding me. He's holding me in there, man. Because I can't watch Nadeshot's stream. I'm just like, this is not fun. Like I'm not having a good time at all, dude. I can watch Scumpy's though. I can watch. I can watch
fucking Scump stream all day, dude. Because he's funny. He has a funny personality, right? Like, and he's good.
I watched him rack up 6 kills, and I was just like, man, those guys came in to have fun. They probably had when they jumped into this game. It's like, that's it. Oh, have you been keeping up with the tournament at all?
What tournament?
The $50 million COD Warzone tournament. I forgot who it was hosted by. Doc was in it, and obviously Nadeshot and bunch of other people playing. Well, that leads us into
Is it the Vic Star tournament?
I think this leads us into. I can't believe this is the last topic. That's crazy. So basically, while Doc has been playing in this tournament, anyone that he's played with and he's come up in their lobby that's a Twitch streamer has muted him.
Has to mute him, and Nadeshot didn't. And
Yeah.
we're still wondering if Nadeshot's going to be banned or not.
Yes. Now, on principle, historically, they've banned people because it's the exact situation.
Yes,
It seems like the highest ban was 3 days. Was the highest one that's been recorded. Nadeshot actually spoke about it himself. He was like, they're gonna have a tough decision to make for themselves. He's like, because I'm not muting them. You know, that's almost a direct quote. And it's gonna be interesting because they have played favorites. So everything I know about Twitch, I've either learned from you, Cash, or one other person, right? And historically, what I've learned about them is they do play favorites. It's been more synonymous with the opposite sex. They've been not as quick to ban over things in that regard. There's obviously an agenda. I'm not going to get political on you right now, but it's going to be interesting to see how they play it with this guy. You know? And then
Nadeshot doesn't need Twitch.
He doesn't need them in the slightest.
Nope.
Right?
he has more subs on his, or he has more followers. Well, like subs versus followers, YouTube versus Twitch, right? He has 3 times the amount of subs on YouTube as he has followers on Twitch. Yeah. So he doesn't fucking need him in the slightest.
And they would act. All those YouTube subscribers would be joiners. Is when you actually pay money. I believe you have to.
I don't know. I don't know. I just don't.
Doc was trying to figure out. He was like, "Yeah, just make sure to sub to the channel." He's like, "What'd you say, Alex? I don't get any money if they sub. They gotta hit join." It's like, make sure you join the channel. But it's gonna be interesting to see how they do this, man. Because what can they do to a guy like Nadeshot, right? Maybe it's not long money,
make
but
an example out of him.
They can make an example out of him. That could blow. It could turn around and blow in their face, but they got enough money where it's not even gonna matter, right? They make an example of him. He parts ways with them. That opens up the slot for someone else. At this point, it's just kind of silly. What is interesting about this whole thing is that what made him not mute him? That's what I want to get to the bottom of. He hasn't said any reason other than I'm not doing it. Like, was that some type of a form of protest? What was it, man? If you're going to take a stand on something, could you at least give us the reason you took a stand? Like, why'd you do it?
Because he doesn't need Twitch. Let's be fair. He doesn't need Twitch. So he's the right person to make the stand.
Good point.
And if they ban him, well, I guess Doc is no longer any friends with anyone on Twitch. See you later, Doc. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what Nadeshot's intentions are.
Yeah,
CEO of a fairly large company, and CEO of the premier esports organization at the moment, in my opinion.
Yeah,
he's the right person to do it at the right time.
Yeah. You gotta have someone take a stand at some point.
Yeah.
I was talking to someone who was not a lawyer. And I was explaining the Doc thing to them, but they have a good mind for legal situations. And I was like, hey, does this sound like it would be something criminal? And he was like, no, it's probably more contractual. And I was like, yeah, that's what me and my buddy Zach were talking about. If it was something criminal, they have to, it would be disclosed by now. It would be public information. They were like, yeah, 100%. Even if it was a past offense, the victim has a right to say something. But what the hell got this dude pulled from his Discord partnership? I know you can't answer it. We can end the show at any point before you get angry about talking about it again.
I don't know, right? I have no clue. And at this point, I'm done with the speculation. I just don't care anymore. Really, he's back. You can watch his content if you like it.
Yeah,
that's it.
I like the wig, man.
It's funny,
dude. Game 7, he gets alleyways played. Like it's that's amazing.
He's big, man.
His marketing game is amazing.
It's incredible. He'll be bigger than he'll be a bigger star than Ninja eventually. Right now, Ninja's the A-list celebrity of Twitch, in my opinion. Other than the legitimate famous people who stream, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I was gonna list people, but Logic. Let's just list Logic, right? That's an easy one.
Logic,
I've never tuned into a Logic stream, by the way. I don't even know if he actually streams.
Didn't he just get paid a bunch of money to start streaming?
Exclusive 7-figure contract. but how many times a week does he have to stream, or how many hours a month does he have to stream? That's the real question. Most of them are 60 hours a month. So if he does that, then good for him. Doc eventually, if this isn't something legal or criminal, then he'll be more famous than anyone on Twitch, and he'll cross over into a legitimate TV show at some point, I think.
Yeah, how much of that money you think he gets if it actually goes through the lawsuit? I'm not sure if he's actually pushing it through or not, but
45%.
45%. How much do you think we'll get out of that?
0.
So you know what, Doc? That's the last time I mention your name on this show until we get.
Bitch! Yeah!
No, we love you, Doc. I love you, Doc. Zach is indifferent entirely.
I'm indifferent. There are very few people on the platform that I'm a huge fan of. So,
hey, we should probably do some self promotion right now before we start twilighting it out of here, man. We're talking about doing a live stream ourselves, man.
Yeah, Friday show's live. I think I don't know about next week going forward, but soon for sure. I think we have everything figured out logistically of how that'll work. Yeah, I think going forward we're gonna do them live. So if you want to tune in live, ask us questions. If we have enough questions and it garners it, we'll have a fan question segment of the show. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Obviously, if you don't catch it live, it'll always be up on the YouTube channel. It'll always be up on our Anchor and on Spotify and such. So yeah, soon to be live. At least one show a week, I think.
Yeah, I'm with it, man. And if you just want to come on and argue with us, maybe make fun of our faces, our weight, we're okay with that. We can take healthy criticism, but please remember, anything said, leave your address so we can contact you afterwards just to confirm that you said what you said. We just want to talk to you. That's all we want to do. We just want to talk to you. Zach, you want to tell the people where they can find us?
You guys fucking know. Talking with a Dad. Google that shit. Put it in the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, into your favorite podcasting application. We're not going exclusive with Spotify like Joe Rogan. We're the new Joe Rogan. Steve's my Brian Redband.
Hold on for a second. You're my Mike Goldie.
Yeah, but like I'm the GOAT.
The GOAT of
being a mediocre commentator. Yeah, you find us anywhere talking with a dad. Thank you guys very much for listening to episode 57. Catch us on Tuesday for you guys. I forget these go up on Saturday and Tuesday and not Monday and Friday when we record them. Catch us on Tuesday for our next episode. Peace out.